There's no turning back now. Hello, can anybody hear me? There's a delay in the chat, I think. Are we done yet? Hi, Stephanie. Yeah, hi, everybody who's joined already. Slim, Ladybird, Lynn, Jerry, Terry. So merry to be here. Hi, Judy. I'll give people like a minute or two before I start. Hi, Mona. Jennifer, Page, Cryptex. So can you guys hear me? Hi, Tom. Trish. Hi, Marshall. Thank you. Hi, Lisa. Thank you for staying up late. Yeah, I don't really like doing these things, to be honest, but here we are. They went okay in June. We'll see how it goes. I was afraid we wouldn't have anything to talk about, but obviously there's been some updates in the past week. Thank you, Hunter. Thank you, Loves Dog. Hi, Steph. Hi, Sheila. Hi, Alice. Oh, we have to do something. Hold on. Is Tony Klein bridge guy? Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. So let's see here. Sorry, I'm just trying. I've only done this only 4 times in June, so I'm trying to figure it out. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I hope there's major news. Obviously, yesterday there was some rumors about Tony getting arrested. So hold on. Oh, 126 people? Oh, gosh. Give me a second. I'm looking for my PowerPoint I made. Why is that doing that? Full screen? Hold on. I have my scuba gear ready to go. Hi, Outdoor. Hi, Ira. So can you guys see my PowerPoint? So this is some things that I thought we'd talk about. Dan, I did 2 Q&As on Missy Beavers in June. I really haven't done any updates on that case because I don't know what else to do that I have not done already. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you. Oh, gosh. I won't repeat that one. Can see it, but it's blurry. Hold on. All right, we might as well just get into it. Sorry, I'm not like talking enough, but okay. So obviously the latest updates are that Kegan apparently confessed to being in his dad's red Jeep while, quote unquote, somebody was murdering the girls. That was from the murder sheet. I think it's interesting that he's finally confessing or admitting some kind of part in the murders. But what do you guys think? Do you think he stayed in the Jeep or he was on the bridge? Because there's another rumor that he was on the bridge and then his dad was down the hill. Is this verified? No, it's from the murder sheet. They have not really been wrong with their release of information. And I've heard it from one or two other people. But I'm curious, where did they park? Because obviously the woman at the press conference said her friend drove by CPS every day and there was a white truck there. So other people mentioned there's this other park, hold on, called Riley Park. Give me a second. That's near Marathon gas station. So hold on. Share. So I'm going to share something else. So this is a Google image of Marathon. You see Marathon down here. Hold on. Sorry, I hate doing this stuff, but you can see the red thing is the Marathon gas station that Murder Sheet said that Kagan searched, I believe it was the day of the murder, so the day before. And to the top left is Riley Park, which I have really not looked into that much, but apparently that was where the girls went to play softball, I believe, the day before as practice. And I'm sorry that I'm missing a lot of your comments. I'm looking at my screen, so please bear with me. So that's what it looks like on Google Earth. And so if you remember my first video, I was able to get some satellite images, and I'm going to show you the other satellite image, which shows that west side of town. Unfortunately, here we go. So we were just looking at Marathon gas station, and to the top left is Riley Park, which I was wondering, could the, hold on, red Jeep be parked here? And I don't really see anything. It looks like there's a white car there, here. I don't know, there's a black thing here, but if we go down to Marathon gas station, hi, regular Mo. Thanks for waiting for the show. It's not off to a great start, but we'll see how it turns out. So this is Marathon gas station. This is at 12:50 something on the day of the murders. Obviously, it was really disappointing to get this because you cannot really make anything out. But I just want to at least show people what that was. Cars are the size of an ant. Yeah, I know. I wish it was higher resolution, obviously. So I'll go back to my PowerPoint to see what we can talk about here. I'll go to some of your comments. Sorry, you guys. Thank you, Ira. Another thing I was wondering, if this was a planned hit or SA, okay, I get that. That went horribly wrong. Yeah, I'm really curious to know if it in fact was Tony and Kagan, like what was their initial plan to do at the park? Saying, please look at your face and smile. What time is that satellite image from? Let me do this. Hold on, I'll show. I believe it's like 12:56 or so on the day of the murders. But like I said, I mean, as you just saw, there's nothing there's nothing to really see in it, unfortunately. They didn't ask about a white vehicle, they asked about a driver. Yeah, I mean, that was interesting that they worded it that way, but like I said, somebody who drives by there apparently said that they saw a white truck, so I don't know if Kagan is saying he took the red Jeep. Where was that parked? Because I did look at the cemetery satellite too, and also the CPS, and you really can't see anything. Perhaps Tony escaped the opposite way along Bridge Creek and crossed 25. Maybe he contacted Kagan to say he was near Marathon Gas, hence the search for it. Yeah, possibly. Did TK hunt the girls like his stepdaughter? Yeah, I mentioned I think he told his stepdaughter to run, and then he actually did hit her with a BB gun after he shot at her. Yes, I believe it was Julie Melvin who was at that press conference who said her friend drove by there and saw the white car. A white vehicle was mentioned, but not by the police. So I'm curious to know if that building across from CPS, it's a business, it seems. So I don't know if they have a camera. I know that Anthony Greeno, oh, there's 226 people here. Oh, sorry. Anthony Greeno did a video where he was walking along CPS along that little path, and he showed the video across the street, and he zoomed in, and there was a security camera there. And I remember I commented on his video and said, "Thank you for showing that, but it's not certain that that camera was there in 2017." And the next day, the comment was deleted, although I didn't say anything bad. But oh well, hope he's having fun in jail. That's what you get for deleting Tom Webster's comment. Just a joke. Let's see. Somebody saying bye, Theo. I don't even know what's going on, Theo. All right. Hi, Billy. Yes, he is a D bag. These two are sketchy as hell, but neither look or sound. That's what I totally agree with. It's like I just can't get past their body shape, their voice, and their clothing. It does not match the killer. Even if Kagan is saying it's Tony, I don't know. Marshall, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Maybe they edited the dog out. Yeah, I have to be honest. I People have mentioned like a puppy or something in the jacket. I don't agree with that. I think any kind of fibers or hairs that they were talking about could have been, if Tony was involved, they obviously he has a pit bull, so maybe that fell off his jacket or some kind of item he had and was in the crime scene. Let's see. What do you think of Sunny Justice POI BJ? I mean, I'm not totally familiar with what she said. I know she's dealing with some kind of letter or a note that's kind of cryptic, and she was saying some guy with the initials KD was on the bridge. And I mean, I did see a photo or two of him, and it could be possible, but honestly, I've not looked into her theory enough to really give a good idea. But she seems to think a lot of people were involved. But to me, it seems like the police in Kagan's interview from 2020 August, they're saying we know it's your dad. So I don't know. I really want to know what evidence they have against Tony. The specific incident with the stepdaughter motorcycle, she ran, tried to climb the tree, fell, and had a cast on her leg. Photo proves it. Yeah, I mean, he's like Billy said, a D-bag. Yeah, there are definitely I've seen a lot of people do think that Tony sounds like the bridge guy, and Kagan, people say sounds like him, but what I've seen from people who know Tony in real life, nobody says that it sounded like Tony. They said he has a high voice or um, a womanly voice. The clients are not accomplices in this case. Well, yeah, I know. We have not heard from police in 9 months since they asked for Anthony Schott's information. So we really don't have any confirmation other than Kagan's interview where they're saying they thought it was his dad. Yeah, so this is not totally off topic, but I have to share this one. There have been some pretty crazy theories, and like a month ago or so, when somebody brought up the Marathon gas station, I saw somebody was talking about, sorry, no offense to this person if this was you, but they said, did the killer escape Deer Creek on a jet ski? I was like, the first thing I thought of was like a pickup truck with a trailer and a jet ski. And it's like, who in Indiana in February in the winter is wearing winter clothes, riding a jet ski on a creek? But you never know, or you do know. So that's that. Horses shed a lot of hair. True. I guess you're maybe a Ron Logan person, or Ron did it, or obviously Ron has horses. Maybe they were back in that area, but seems like there are a lot of trees. So I don't know that his horses would go back there. I was recently looking at some TV footage. Sorry, I don't have a screen capture, but where they would show the yellow tape after the murders. And I just don't understand how nobody really found them until the next day at noon, unless they put a bunch of leaves around them. I don't know. I just don't know. Tony and Kagan may have taken TT, which is Travis Trexler, somehow related to the Kleins. I think a cousin of Kagan. Yeah, I don't know, because it seems weird if Kagan is saying that he was in a red Jeep waiting, but police said they did not think Kagan was the killer because his phone was at Country Club Road in Peru on Wi-Fi looking at adult movies on his phone. So if Kagan was in Delphi and Tony was in Delphi, who was using Kagan's phone supposedly around the time of the murders? Did he give it to his cousin and say, we need an alibi because they knew they were going to commit a murder? I don't know. Not sure if Kagan is a killer, but I bet he's killed his share of chalupas at Taco Bell. Yeah, I have too, actually. Hunger Game style hunt in the woods. Like I said in my videos, I mean, just seeing that guy walking across the bridge, his jacket has so much stuff in it, and he's obviously up to no good. And I know I kind of came up with this theory that maybe he had a scarf that had writing on it, and I went on a wild goose chase about that. But I think the last frame of the bridge guy video is probably the most clear. And if I had to say anything with that white thing under his chin, I would say it's a rope, a white rope. Let's see. If he said he was waiting on his dad, why would they not arrest him? It doesn't add up. Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know. We obviously don't know enough stuff. So who knows what the police know? The guy on the bridge may not be the killer. Yeah, Sheila. Well, he was obviously involved. So, and there's another point I wanted to bring up. People think somebody saying guys and the guy saying down the hill are two different people. I don't agree with that because in the Ron Logan document, it said the video is 43 seconds long and down the hill comes at the end of 43 seconds at the end of the video. So I doubt Libby could have captured him at that spot 60 feet away. And then a second guy would have come real close to them to say the different phrase. Yeah, so I think it's one person. But I'm not sure that that guy in the bridge is the one who used a knife to kill them. Hey, Bridge Burner, enjoyed your video on local YouTubers. I don't know what that's about, sorry. Stephanie, thank you very much. Towards website renewal, as you mentioned in comments. Yes, I have a question for people. Has anybody downloaded my files either for Delphi or Missy Beavers? I created a website just because people were asking me to share my files, and it's up for renewal in October, and I spent like $200 on it, but I did make $200 from my first Delphi video, so that's paying for that. And for people who say like everybody makes a bunch of money off of these videos, I uploaded my first Delphi video in May 2021, and I looked how much I made about a year later, and it was $211. So I'm not making a bunch of money off this stuff. Let's see. The investigation has evolved since August 2020. Yes, I agree. Hopefully, we'll know soon. To me, the bridge guy looks like Tony Klein. Yeah, but like I said in my video, he wears shirts that all have writing on them, and he never wears jeans. So it's like, whose clothes did he borrow? And apparently, there's a rumor that I'll get to later after I finish these comments. Sorry, I'm behind. There's a rumor that I'll get to in a second or 10 minutes. Sherry says, I think Ron Logan sounds like Bridge Guy, same tone and pitch, and he threw his voice when the reporter asked him to say down the hill. Respectfully, I disagree with that, Sherry, because like I said in my video, when I hear Ron Logan's voice, I think if I was a voiceover acting casting agent and I need some like old sounding guy in his 70s or 80s, who would you choose? Which voice would you choose? Ron Logan's, and I'm not just saying him saying down the hill, I'm saying from all his interviews. Would you choose Ron or the guy in the Bridge Guy video? And to me, the guy in the Bridge Guy video does not sound like a 70 or 80-year-old man. And in my video, I said a bunch of other reasons that I don't think it's Ron, and I mean, the police don't think it was him either. So obviously at first they did, but it seems like they've gone in a totally different direction. Steph thinks it's TK. Yeah, but how did he get involved with this? Was he really sharing CSAM with Kegan and trying to hook up with these 8th grade girls? I mean, it's so messed up. Let's see. Do you think that Kegan probably, as Anthony Schatz, tried to present himself as a friend that was interested in her or vouching for Anthony Schatz as his friend? Like, oh, my friend. Oh, I've never really thought of that, but I think maybe somebody had mentioned that before. Like, Kegan goes across the bridge and says, I'm Anthony's friend. He's down waiting for you, either whatever by the creek. But people are speculating that, oh God, we're over 300 people. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining. We'll make it through. Yeah, I hate doing these things. I hate being the center of attention, but hopefully you'll find it interesting. Anyway, so, I mean, I can't just imagine that Kegan would be like, go down the hill and Tony's waiting across the creek. I mean, there has been speculation that Kegan brought his gun, which I'll get to another rumor about that, maybe them finding it in the river near his house. So Kegan pulls out a gun, says, go down the hill, or even says, well, I think he took out a gun. It wasn't like, oh, Anthony's over across the creek. All you have to do is cross the creek in February and your dream boyfriend's over there and Tony's standing over there. So yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this, but I don't know. I really hope we find out soon. Oh my gosh. I won't highlight that comment. Kagan sounds like the down the hill. Yeah, to me, I feel like the guy who says down the hill, it's just like has a tone of a guy in his 40s or so, and it's just so evil. And I know Kagan is evil, but his voice doesn't have that tone. And I get that he was maybe at the end of the bridge trying to sound evil to get these girls to do whatever he wants, but I don't know. It's crazy. I'm just not convinced that the clients are guilty, but like, who is then? I know. Well, I think it could be a combination of a third person on the bridge, but it's like, I just don't understand how after all these years, people see the video. Obviously, it's a ridiculous mess with as pixelated and you can't tell who it is, but just not knowing that voice. Like I said in my recent video, I did a test where I was wearing jeans, but I took a spare pair of sweatpants and I put my phone, I took a video with my phone. I put it in my sweatpants pocket and I put it about like 4 feet away on my bed and I flipped it around in different positions. So it would kind of simulate Libby's phone. And I used like different tones of my voice and it always still sounded like me. So it's like if your dad or friend or somebody was the guy on the bridge, wouldn't you think somebody at least would have been able to identify him? Anyway. I think there are more than 2 people involved. Yeah, we'll see. But it's like the more people that are involved, how have they been able to hide it for all this time? Sorry, I'm way behind on comments, but I'm trying to get through them all, or at least most of them. I wonder if the picture that was sent when asked, "What did your dad look like?" is one of the reasons they think it's TK. Yeah, I wanted to talk about this because in the interview, they had some chats between Anthony Schatz and maybe some other, maybe Emily Ann, but I think it was Anthony Schatz. And so he's talking with the girls, and in quite a few of these chats, he seems to be bringing up his dad. And it seems like there was one chat where the Kleins sent a photo after a girl said, "What does your dad look like?" So I'm curious to know what like who did they send? Like who was the picture? Was it actually of Tony? And did people think maybe? But I doubt like Libby would be like, "Oh yeah, I'm interested in Anthony Schatz's dad. Send his picture." And the ski mask girl also said that, and they is that the reason why the Kleins felt they had to kill Libby and maybe show up at ski mask girl's house because they had sent an actual photo of Tony? I don't know. You have to consider that the voice might not match the suspect because of the distance of the phone and quality. Yeah, but like I said, I did a test and it still sounded like my ridiculously boring voice. Let's see. What do you think is the motive? Honestly, I spent like 1,000 hours over the past year and a half trying to figure this out. I have no idea. Let's see. Hi, Hazel. Thanks for joining. Thank you, everybody else, for joining. People are lolling about something that happened like 5 minutes ago. Let's Evidence against Tony equals not much and nothing very damning, but I find it concerning that they've looked at him since summer 2020. Well, I find it concerning that they knew about them 2 weeks after the murders and they still haven't found anything. Oh, people were laughing about the jet ski. James Bond. Ashley Garth is the only person that has a motive to kill Libby. Okay, so we'll talk about this for a second. There was a rumor, obviously, if you know the case, Libby's dad had a problem with drugs. I'm not that familiar with it. I know there's a newspaper article that I shared at one point where he and somebody else, I forget exactly what it was. There's so many facts in this case, it's hard to keep track. So apparently, Libby's dad possibly maybe submitted some kind of information to the police that got Ashley Garth's child taken away from him. And so I think some people think that she wanted revenge. And so the way was to, I guess, kill Derek German's daughter and her friend Abby, who was there. So I don't know. Obviously, Ashley Garth and her boyfriend Garrett Kurtz, if you're familiar with this case, I mean, Garrett Kurtz had absolutely no regard for human life. He totally killed his girlfriend, strangled her, left her in, I guess, a shack, and then he killed that other guy, Ray Hanish. It's like, and his excuse was that he was high on meth at the time, which was, like I said, around February 2017. But I just couldn't connect Ashley Garth and Garrett Kurtz to the Delphi murders, but I could be wrong. Let's see. Is it known if Marathon near me or Marathon in Delphi or exactly what was searched? I believe the murder sheet said it was the Marathon in Delphi. In my video, I did a little section on Marathon gas station. Honestly, already forgot what I said. How do you see Carter? Is he honest or blowing smoke a lot on this case? I always have to be honest. I mean, he has such a good heart. He's come on the verge of tears several times in these press conferences. But my issue is he always seems to like try to say the right thing. And I just find it I find it frustrating. It's like, just tell us facts instead of saying, oh, we're going to find him one day. I don't know. Realize that they can't release a bunch of information for whatever they call it, evidence only the killer would know, stuff like that. But I find we're talking about Doug Carter, the Indiana State Police superintendent, who does a lot of the spokesperson stuff. I don't know. I find him frustrating sometimes, but he's a good guy, and hopefully it will be resolved soon. I hear someone say he was an out-of-towner who was communicating via radio with someone who was telling him the terrain. Was he related to the client somehow? Because, like I said, it seems like the police are focusing on Tony and Kegan, and especially Tony. So what about Kokomo in the know mentioning a bite mark? I'm not really sure who you're referencing. I think Kokomo in the know might be a Facebook discussion group or something, or a user. And I don't know about a bite mark, but I mean, I've heard rumors about Tony Klein being into stomachs, like girl stomachs. I think in the Kagan's police interview, they said there was searches done on Kagan's phone about girls' stomachs, maybe like 12-year-old girl stomachs. And obviously Libby was 14, Abby was 13. And I think Tony, in that toilet incident with his stepson, where he dunked his third grade stepson in the overflowed toilet and beat up his wife. Apparently, he bit his wife in the stomach. Am I remembering that correct? So Tony might have a thing with stomachs, and there might have been some kind of stomach mark on the girls, which might be a reason that police think Tony is involved. Hi, Cody. I remember you were one of the 2 people who were actually normal in my June chats who came on camera, so thank you for joining. If the case is solved, will you be in attendance during the trial? No, but I've never followed any trial. But I mean, obviously, this case and Missy Beaver, since I've spent so much time on the both of them, I would, I mean, I wouldn't attend, but I would want to know absolutely everything that they found since it's been like a year and a half for me trying to figure everything out. Mm. Hi, Tara. Thank you for the heart. Hi, Alex. Is this not the wildest case of all time? A new twist and turn everywhere you look. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I would say a year ago when I finished my first look into it in May 2021, I would have said, I don't think it's going to be solved because if they had been 4 years and no real progress that we knew of, obviously by that time they had been talking to Kagan in um, almost a year prior, but I don't know. They're just not going to arrest TK. They need to collab evidence with statements. Marshall says burner phones. Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, Kagan had, I think it was 6 phones taken in the February 25th raid of his house. Plus, he had the 7th phone, which is main phone, the iPhone 7C, which I still do not understand how the police missed that and how it magically showed up in his kitchen. Obviously, Tony must have done something with it as soon as he saw the police. So there's speculation that there was a burner phone, but why would he have all these other phones and be doing this nonsense on it and then need a second burner phone or something? I don't know. Perusing adult content. Why didn't the Patties check Anna and Abby's house for the girls on that Monday? I don't know. I don't know that they wouldn't have. Did Anna already go to work? Yeah, I don't know. I do not think that there's any kind of family like controversy or whatever, like that the families are involved. Water's too shallow and a jet ski. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm way behind in these comments. Sorry. Um, how come the searchers did not find the shoe the first search of the river? So I think the shoe was on the bridge side of the creek, which in my first video, I kind of speculated, did Libby maybe lose the shoe as they were going down the hill? Did she maybe kick that guy, the bridge guy, and he pulled it off somehow? Or once she got across the creek, did the killer pull off her or drag her by her shoes? Maybe one came off and he just chucked it on the other side. I don't know. Hi, Ryan. Thanks for joining. He probably left by now. These messages are so old. The area where the girls were found is way too steep and uneven for horses. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I tried to look back at the helicopter footage to see and match up based on the police tape from later on, and I really couldn't figure out where the girls could have been. Uh, Denise says she thinks Kagan connected his Wi-Fi to a website and left it at the cousin's house or um, the friend's house. There's no real clarification where exactly Kagan was supposed to be on Country Club Road during the murders. Let's see. What do you now think is in his jacket? Like I said, the rope. It seems like there's something in the front that's bulging out. I have no clue what that is. There's obviously been speculation that somebody used some kind of chemicals to either remove their DNA from the crime scene or something else. I don't know what else they could have had. Obviously, there's speculation that a gun was used, not to kill them, but just to get them to do what he wanted them to do. Is it true that Kagan put money on Libby's account? If true, that is very worrisome. Yeah, I mean, the police said we have the money account going to Libby. It's like, why? I try to figure it out in my latest video, but I don't know why he would be sending her money. Did she, like I said, I don't know if she was really the type to be blackmailing him, but I don't know if he thought maybe she found out information. And he said, okay, I'm going to send you $500. Don't tell anybody. Like I was just saying before, did they send a picture of Tony and they said, here's $500, delete that picture? I have no idea. Let's see. Thank you for calling him Kagokio. Had several devices. He easily could have left one somewhere as proof he was there, even though he was not. Yeah, I think they said his iPhone 5, which was his most used phone at the time of the murders, was probably the one on Country Club Road. Hi, Ladybird. Do you think they've known this red Jeep for a while? Why did they ask repeatedly for the driver? Were they trying to corroborate that Kagan wasn't driving and he was indeed with someone else, possibly not even Tony, but why would Tony even allow somebody else to drive his red Jeep? Like I was saying, if there is a camera across from CPS, and that is in fact where the red Jeep was parked, I mean, obviously they would have had that from the day after. But why would they not make that connection that Tony Klein has a Jeep parked outside of his house, a red Jeep parked outside of his house on the February 25th, 2017 raid? You would think it would be over by then. So did they park somewhere else that did not have a camera? That's the only thing I can think of this. Hi, Charlie. Thank you very much. Maybe a trip to Vegas was planned to sell images to dark web contact. Perhaps a digital cam used, an SD card was sold, cam thrown in the river. Yeah, I mean, I've heard people say this. I think their Vegas trip truly was, oh my God, we're at 400 people. I really think that their Vegas trip was pre-planned. I don't think they committed the murders and then we're like, oh, we have to go to Vegas. But I mean, who knows what they did there? Obviously, Kagan was searching all this stuff. They were looking to go to a brothel. I don't know. It just seems so weird. So I don't know if they were planning to sell the images or a video on the dark web. But like I said in my video, I would imagine somebody, even on the dark web, would have seen a video or pictures of two girls in the woods and maybe made a connection that it was related to Delphi. When will we see the Railroad Administration's files on the inspection reports of the Monon High Bridge? I'm not sure what that's related to, but honestly, I think that bridge should have been torn down a long time ago. That's way too dangerous. I'm obviously really strict, but I mean, I saw a video recently from even before the murders of these 4 teenage girls sitting on one of the platforms, and it's like they were so close to the edge. I was afraid they're going to fall off. And I'm surprised nobody has fallen off and died on those things. Oh, crap. I'm sorry. Let's see. Hi, Jane. Sonny Justice said the bridge guy is wearing a mask below his chin and he has a GoPro on his head and a microphone. I don't know. I think it's just that, like I said, that video is so frustrating. It's like every frame looks like a different guy and it's changes all the time. So I don't know that anybody can really say definitively what's going on with anything in that video. Obviously, there was some witness who said he was wearing a scarf, I think from his nose below, or from his mouth or his nose. I don't know. But at some point, it seems like it is his chin that's showing in the video. So I don't know, to be honest. They can't arrest whoever Kagan ratted on without serious corroboration. Okay, we're at this point. I did download the files from my site. Okay, thank you, Cryptex, for letting me know. Let's see. Two witnesses said the white thing was a scarf. It was pulled up going in and out, but not on the bridge. Okay, thank you. Let's see. BG has narrow hips. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't really see. I made that comparison photo with Tony and Kagan on the bridge. It wasn't from exactly February 2017, but I don't know. I just don't really see their bodies in that guy on the bridge, to be honest. Thank God. Let's see. Maybe he's wearing his dad's clothes. I think you're referring to Tony Klein's father. Yeah, but apparently Tony Klein's father was a good person. And wouldn't you think that he would, I mean, at least be like, aren't those my clothes on the guy on the bridge? And he found out, Kagan said that his dad and granddad were freaking out when he got home from the interview in February 2017. So why would the grandfather go along with this? I don't the, oh my God, that's a Missy Beavers reference. Hi, Louie. I think when someone gets arrested, it'll be hard to believe because it's taken so long. It's been so complicated. Yeah, I mean, if they say that Kagan or Tony was the guy on the bridge, I'm honestly going to be shocked because I just don't see them or hear them. But obviously, I think it's a huge possibility that they are involved somehow. But I just don't know that that's them on the bridge. Maybe it's just old clothes, and what he usually wears is go out clothes. He should wear his go out clothes only at home. It might be helpful to remind everyone police legally can and do lie during interrogations. They cannot fabricate actual evidence, but they can fabricate what they know or have to persuade a confession. Yeah, I'm not really too knowledgeable in these interrogations and all the rules. I don't know. I mean, it seems pretty evil to buy a GoPro and be like, I'm going to turn this on as I'm assaulting or killing two girls and then sell it. Obviously, Kegan and Tony are whacked out of their minds, but and I think it is a possibility that Kegan at least was trying to sell CSAM images and videos that he was trading and stuff, but it seems like there's plenty of it available, unfortunately, online. So it's like, who has to really buy it? I don't know. Unless Kagan thought I can create original content and make money off it. I don't know. Let's see. Have you checked out that guy's name? I've never heard of that name. He bought a tactical vest just before the murders, and it's all on his IG. Also, someone in one of his vids on his IG has a similar rip in the jeans I identified. Yeah, I know people had differing views about whether, I mean, I said in my first video, I couldn't ignore the fact that there were like holes in the jeans. I'm not certain that that was true, but it was just something that I could not mention. Yeah, I don't know who that person is, Frankie. I'm sorry. Let's see. Sorry, I'm back on comments about people talking about whether it's Ron Logan or not. What's this? I thought their parents said there's more than one video video that Abby took. Well, it was Libby's phone. Yeah, there were some rumors at first or at some point that there's a 2-minute video, but in the Ron Logan warrant, at least the one where down the hill is mentioned, it's 43 seconds. I don't know if she somehow started another second video that's longer, but as far as I know, there is one video. I think if they thought ahead enough to make up an alibi of working in Vegas, it's possible they also were planning on wearing new clothes, especially since they would dispose of them after. Yeah, but to me, it's kind of weird. It's like he met Libby online approximately 2 weeks before the murder. What could have happened in 2 weeks chatting that they would think they would need like a murder alibi? I just don't understand. Let's see. I think he's sharing. Lady Bird says she thinks it's entirely the hand of someone already in custody. Who? Garrett Kurtz? Let's see. Joey, I think the Kleins were found out because he talked to Libby. Maybe he may be the one who catfished the girls to go to the bridge, but I don't think he had anything more to do with it. Well, do you believe the rumor that he was waiting in the red Jeep? Why is he confessing after 5.5 years of not admitting any involvement? Hi, Corey. Anyone think this could be a trafficking ring involved in catfishing? I don't know. To me, it just sounds weird that like someone would think they could kidnap two girls at the same time. I don't know, or sexually assault them or what? I don't know. Do you think law enforcement wanted the red Jeep to be leaked? No, I don't. I mean, I guess I'll talk about this now because I'm sure it's going to ask me what I think about murder sheet singular. Sorry. I mean, obviously, as somebody who has been spending a lot of time trying to figure this out, I appreciate that murder sheet has revealed some information, but honestly, I feel like they've overstepped their boundary, especially with them saying that the police were looking in the river for something related to Delphi. It's like Tony is right there. If he's involved, like I just feel that was irresponsible. And a few of their other leaks, it's like I don't know. I just don't agree with it. And I acknowledge that I could seem like a hypocrite since I spent an hour and 51 minutes reading through their leak of Kagan's interview and stuff like that. But I felt like it was already out there. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think the police could be happy with these leaks. And I don't people think they're working with Murder Sheet. I don't think the top brass, so to speak, at the Indiana State Police would be happy that they're releasing this stuff. Tom, thank you very much. The clothes almost seemed like someone knew Ron and tried to frame him. Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's somewhat similar. And some people seem to say, oh, it's exactly the clothes that Ron is wearing, but it's not. And I don't believe it's Ron at all. I don't know that it's if Ron was involved at all, or if he did find the girls maybe on that night before they were found murdered. But I really don't think that's him on the bridge. Ron goes and gets some old clothes from the dumpster at the transfer station. Well, there's a camera there, and I think someone would be like, why is a 77-year-old man dumpster diving? And why would he think, oh, I can find this stuff, jeans and a jacket, and then for a murder that's about to happen in an hour and a half? No offense, Jane, but that's just my immediate reaction to that. Inside Edition asked an expert if he thought the voice was Chadwell, and he said it was too short to analyze. Yeah, I don't think it was Chadwell, but I'm glad he's in prison for 90 years. Although I think somebody said he's appealing his plea deal, which some people say that's not even possible. These girls did everything in their power to get this killer caught. Yeah, it's like obviously Libby did a great thing of taking that video, but it's like it's interesting to think what would have happened if she did not take that video. How would this police investigation have progressed? Hi, Nisi. Thanks for joining. Um, what about the girl who saw the peeping Tom exactly 1 week later? So this is the girl I refer to as ski mask incident. I'm sure most of you, if you're aware of this case, you know what I'm talking about. I don't know. I mean, it's like I'm trying to figure out still if Libby and this girl were friends, if they were both at the same sleepover talking to Anthony Shots. I have not been able to confirm that yet. But it seems odd, and it seems unconfirmed too, because there's no police report. I don't know. Like I said, I really want to obviously find out um, all these facts that we've been guessing at for a long time. Thank you, but I'm actually sweating. I'm glad I'm not on camera right now. Let's see. Somebody else who thinks Kegan's voice sounds like BG. Um, I don't think. Hi, Sister Sarah. I definitely see similarities between Tony and Bridge Guy. The voices don't match my opinion, but it's hard to tell from a recording. I actually always thought it sounded like Ron. I respectfully disagree about Ron, at least. I don't think we really have enough of Tony's voice to compare. I mean, there's a voicemail, and also somebody called him and recorded it. And he's like, I don't have time right now. And apparently, some people were calling Tony. Let's get to this, I guess. Tony was apparently arrested yesterday. It was a huge false alarm. I would think this case is such a huge case that if police have enough evidence to go to trial and make an arrest, they're going to have a press release ready to go the minute they make an arrest and have this guy or guys in handcuffs. So it's like, I would say when there's an arrest, I'm sure we'll find out from police as soon as possible. Let's see. Oh yeah, so people called Tony's cell phone yesterday to find out if he was in jail or if he answered, and he answered. I think that's pushing it a little bit too much, but whatever. Let's see. Go watch the video. Actually, Greeno's channel got deleted. True Crime Investigates got deleted because he was stalking his ex-girlfriend from jail or something like that. That's happened in the past week. He did a video. Does anybody know about this video? I remember seeing one where he and maybe some other content creators went on the bridge with people who are different heights to try and figure out what height the bridge guy could have been. And they took a video with a cell phone from Libby's perspective with the people of different heights. And I believe they may have said it was 5'8", but I'm not totally sure, but I cannot find that video. People in their 40s are evil. Okay. Hi, Cookie Whoopie Pie. Honestly, I think the trail is a weird meeting place for who they thought Anthony Shots was. Yeah, I mean, how can you pretend to be this guy, Anthony Shots, who honestly, I don't think he was that hot, but anyway, and expect these girls to be like, you're not Anthony Shots. I don't know. Like somebody said before, maybe somebody said, oh, I'm his friend and he's over at this other location down the hill. People have speculated about that. Kagan has the same inflection as BG, but I don't think he has the same tone. Let's see. Kagan's voice from Barbara's interview has the same timbre as BG. Yeah, obviously everybody has their own different opinion. That's fine. Let's see. I don't know. Hi, Billy. Thank you very much. Have you ruled out Tobe Lesenby's thighs? Well, if you watch my first video, that was what I said. I compared him sitting down to the killer's thighs, and I said, if the jeans don't fit, you must have quit. And then for people who saw my Missy Beavers video, I said, if the father-in-law's beer belly doesn't fit, you must have quit. Yeah, I don't think it's Tobe, the sheriff, but obviously some people thought he sounded like he said down the hill once, and people thought it sounded like him, but I don't think it's some great police cover-up, but I guess we'll find out. It wouldn't be out of the realm for someone who has CSAM to also be around, involved, or know traffickers. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to find out if there is a third person involved, and is this somebody that Kagan was dealing with on Dropbox or what? It makes sense it is the clients because that is who lured the girls there. So I just want to clarify, in the police interview, they said, or apparently Anthony Schatz said, "Oh my God, what happened? We were supposed to meet, but she didn't show up." So there's never any clarification which day he said they were supposed to meet or where. I mean, it could have been at Riley Park the day before, which is one potential motive I speculated about. Did Libby say, "Oh, I'll meet you somewhere"? I don't know, maybe she said Riley Park at 9 a.m. to meet Anthony Schatz or whatever. And then she didn't get there until like 2 p.m. and they got mad and went, I don't know. It's obviously just, I'm just speculating, but I don't understand. Sorry. McDonald's video, it's headline news. The reporter's Barbara McDonald, who did the in-person interview with Kagan a few days, I think it was December 9th, 2021, 3 days after police put out the Anthony Schatz request. Let's see. Hi, Heather. We're talking about the Kleins. They are dirtbags. Kagan was not on the bridge. He physically can't do it. It's not his father either. They are related to CSAM. Well, people say Kagan can't like walk on the trails and up and down hills and kill two girls, but why is he saying apparently that he was in the Jeep? If it is Tony, I think the police need to be held accountable for clearing them to the media early. I know it's like I think the day after the raid, the FBI spokesperson said they were cleared. That seems to be a huge mistake. And not getting his phone, I don't know. It's easy for us to criticize them, but the police, but who's to say that we could do a better job? Let's see. Thank you for appreciating my phone pocket test. Let's see. ISP said they found BG and he's no longer a suspect. Velocity Girl, I don't think that's true. I think what you might be referring to is the first sketch apparently was possibly based on, if you know a lot of these rumors from the case, you probably heard about a woman pulled over on the side of the road. I don't know how close it was, if it was on Hoosier Heartland Highway or somewhere else, the night of the murders. And there was a guy on the side of the road. And I guess she rolled her window down and he said he was waiting for his dad and maybe his car. There's maybe a work truck that had broken down. So I think maybe that first older guy sketch was based on this guy. And recently, I don't know if I can pull this up. Hold on. There was a guy who apparently, give me a second. Here he is. Hold on. I actually have it. So here we go. Give me 2 seconds here. So I'm going to show you a picture of this guy who apparently, I'm looking a mess. Here we go. Okay, here we go. I'll try to zoom in. Sorry, it's even blurry on my screen. So his name is Aaron Roswarski. And I believe Fig Solves did a video. The YouTube channel Fig Solves did a video explaining how this might have been the guy on the side of the road who a woman had stopped. And he said, "I'm waiting for my dad." And police, I believe, cleared him later And this might be the guy who was the basis of that first sketch. That's all I got about that. What can I put on the screen to replace my face? Let's see. Let's do this. Back to the comments. We're approaching 500. I hope you're getting something out of this. Sorry, it's not the greatest, but I'm trying. Let's see. Hi, Phil. Since we all know that law enforcement has lied and stunted rumors that were true, and now that we know that a huge CSAM ring is being uncovered by this tragedy, has anyone rethought the... where's the rest of your thing? Oh, okay, here we are. Involvement of Chadwell or other POIs. Honestly, everybody who I reviewed in my first video, who I said, I don't think it was them involved, I still don't think it's them. Like I said, Garrett Kurtz has no respect for human life, and he was supposedly on drugs. So could he have killed 2 8th-grade girls? Possibly, but I just don't see evidence. And police have obviously not also found evidence, because people obviously tipped in Garrett. And I mean, people, online sleuths. Kagan's brother said it sounds like Kagan. Correct. He seemed to hesitate, though, but obviously he would be a good judge of it. But he says it does not sound like Tony. And if Kagan is saying, okay, I was in the Jeep, how could it be Tony on the bridge if it does not sound like Tony to anybody who knew Tony? There is a rumor. Hold on. I guess I'll review it right now. Give me a second. Let's see. All right, I'm about to share a rumor that was posted on Reddit a few weeks ago. Just remember, this is a rumor. It's not confirmed at all. I don't like to spread rumors, but I'll just share this. But keep that in mind, please. Let's see. So I'll just read this. Oh, hold on. We have a guest. I'll be with you in a second. So this says, supposedly this person knows somebody in law enforcement, and they said Kagan is the man on the bridge. It was already known by law enforcement, but he has now confessed. Kagan claims he took the girls to Tony, who was waiting at the kill site, which seems odd if he's waiting on the other side of the creek. Did Kagan have a gun and say you have to cross? And like, Kagan's not crossing a creek, let's be honest. There is more audio, but it has not been released because prosecution believes it will taint a jury and is not admissible because of editing. Law enforcement circled back to Kagan in 2021 with new eyes on the case after previously dismissing his involvement twice. Law enforcement believed Kagan was the murderer, but now believe Tony was responsible. Kagan says he went to the car and waited at the CPS building. Kagan says Tony discarded the knife out the car window into the Wabash River on the way home and burned his clothes in a barrel in their backyard. Kagan says he does not know what happened to the gun he used to control the girls because it was Tony's gun. Kagan's attorney is using cooperation to try to negotiate a lighter sentence for the CSAM and will not face charges for the murders if he is telling the truth. The search of the river is not complete. So this was a few weeks before the river search was completed. And law enforcement, will be back on Monday, if not earlier. If I think of anything else, I'll add it later. So that's just a rumor. Let me share something else that recently came to light. Guest, I'll be with you in like, actually, I'll let you in. Hold on. I wasn't expecting to be on.
Hey, you're doing great. So I should probably just not even call in. So you're entertaining by yourself.
All right, thank you. So I don't know you that well, but you seem to be like a good person who actually tries to solve this. So I thought I'd have you on. I appreciate you joining. Your YouTube channel's Fig Solves. Since I have you here, I guess we'll talk about this gun that was found in the river. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I think it was found a few years ago, but yeah,
Yeah, I have a screen
yeah.
capture of this.
I want you to read taint the jury with a straight face again though. That'd be great. Just kidding. um yeah, it was found. I think it was just could have been a coincidence, but it was a few years ago,
Okay, so I'm sharing this.
2019.
So this is from the Kokomo Tribune. It says loaded handgun found along Wabash River during cleanup event. This is May 2019. .380 caliber weapon found on riverbank near Peru Civic Center.
Mhm.
So let me just show you this real quick. Hold on. I don't know how to share different things. Give me a second. So here we go. This is kind of where, hold on. This is where it was found. And this is the Klein's backyard. So I was thinking, I mean, if the Kleins were involved in this case and they cross this bridge after the murders and throw out whatever, a murder weapon, a knife or something that the police were looking for a month that maybe have finally found, then they obviously have a history of throwing evidence in the river. So at some point, did they throw the gun down here? Because Kegan, I showed in my video that Kegan tweeted, oh God, we're over 500. Hi, everybody. Kegan tweeted that he had a .380 gun. I could pull it up, but just believe
Right.
me.
I believe you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So
it just
this was a great find, this article. Was that the Inquisitor channel or somebody else, do you know?
Inquisitor. Yeah.
Yeah, so to me, it seems very suspicious that the Kleins possibly throw evidence in the river here, and then a gun matching what Kagan said he has is found in 2019. And the other part of the article, they said it had been in there for a while. So I don't know, obviously, how long. And they said they were going to maybe get rid of the gun within 6 months if police from other agencies could not match it up to an existing crime. So I don't know that they still have it. And like I said, we just think maybe it was used to get the girls to go down the hill. And obviously, no shots were fired, really.
Right. Yeah, it's super interesting. That's this case. It always has interesting things, and there's another connection that could be possible.
Did you hear my part about the sketch that I was just going about? I don't know if you have any further things to add to that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I showed Aaron's picture on the. I don't know if you saw that or
Right.
not.
Yeah, yeah, I did. So I don't know if that has anything to do with the sketch or not. I was just given some information that that person was identified, and they didn't have anything to do with the murders. So I don't think it has anything to do with the first sketch. Maybe it does,
All right.
but it was more of just that person was identified, and since it was later in the evening, right? So there was no evidence of them being around the bridge during the day. That whole scenario happened at night. So yeah, with
Okay.
the sketches, it's more. I think I've heard one witness, a female witness who saw, and then also when FBI stepped in, they used part of the technology, what they saw on the video, and kind of guessed the parts that had to fill in, like
Mm-hmm.
the lower half of the person. So my understanding is it's a combination of eyewitness testimony along with some, I guess, digital forensics there.
Do you want to talk about? I think you did a video called "Breaking the Alibi" about Kegan's, because Kegan said, or at least the police said, we know you were on Country Club Road. Do you want to talk about? Because it seemed to be in the interview, they were talking about his drug dealing friend, but you think it's his cousin, possibly. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I looked. So I got the transcripts pretty early, so I just started looking up Country Club Road, people who live there, because it was interesting. It seemed like really important as they were talking about the alibi and that they were lying about it, where Kagan seemed like he was lying. He wasn't at his grandma's house, and the law enforcement didn't think he was there. So they're asking about this Country Club Road. So I'm like, who lives there? And I looked to see if either of his friends that were mentioned. I looked at their background, no evidence that they ever lived on Country Club Road. So I was kind of just going through Tony's Facebook, seeing who was liking his pictures, and matched that up with people who did live on Country Club Road, and I found someone. I didn't know it was Tony's cousin at the time. Then I saw like an obituary once his dad passed away, and I'm like, whoa, there's a lot of the last name Trexler in there. So I kind of made the connection, and I just tipped it in to the Abby and Libby tip line, and just kind of saw what happened. But yeah, then I made that video, kind of hoping that if that person is in the know, that they would tell what they know. Or so I think they might have been helping cover for an alibi, is the thought. And I was able to confirm that that person did live there during that time, but I'm not 100% sure that's where the phone was, obviously.
And because I showed in my video that, what's his name? Kyle.
Oh yeah, Titus.
Yeah, in his in the newspaper article, it said he's from Logansport, which is obviously not Peru. So yeah, that seems to be like a conflict with that. But then the cousin Travis just got arrested for, I guess, an old DUI charge or something like that. Do you know that?
Yeah. So he got brought in, and again, could be a coincidence or it could be a timing thing. But yeah, he was brought in and then let go, and then he's supposed to be back in court in October.
Do you have any other topics you want to talk about?
I think you're doing great. I think people want to hear from you. There's over 500 people, and they want to hear from Tom. So yeah, I'll just keep listening myself. It's going well. Good job.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for joining.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for that spreadsheet. That was very well formatted. I appreciate that.
I like a man who likes a good spreadsheet. All right. Take care.
Bye, you too.
Bye.
Thanks. All right. Time to take myself off here. Hold on. Let's see. What am I doing? Sorry, I'm so behind on comments. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm trying to do the best I can. Wait, I want myself off of here. Open Secrets was a YouTube channel who did a lot of interviews with Garrett Kurtz. I'm not sure. I guess I'm so far behind in this chat here. Hi, Nicholas. Do you think this was a kidnapping gone wrong or an intentional killing? I mean, obviously I can't figure it out. It's like, why would they kidnap them? Like I said, were they going to think that Libby was going to be the only person there? And since Kagan was home all day, like to have her as a slave in their house or something, in their basement? I mean, like, who thinks that's a good idea? Obviously it happens, but I don't know. I can't figure it out. The down the hill command reminds me of my school days when a teacher would say, guys, line up for lunch or whatever. Yeah, obviously people have said that only a certain type of person might use the term guys, like an authority figure, a teacher, or even a police officer or something like that. Motive could be revenge. I don't know what they would want revenge on Libby for, though. I don't know. Were you talking? Oh, maybe you're talking about Ashley Garth and Libby's dad telling on her or something. But there's no real proof that Derek German, Libby's dad, did some kind of plea deal where he threw Ashley Garth under the bus or caused her son, I guess, maybe to be taken away, which was a good thing because she's a horrible person. Let's see. Your contact is so thought-provoking. I'm on and off game with the clients as the perpetrators. Thank you, Susan. Yeah. I mean, I think they were involved somehow, but I just, like I said, I can't definitely place either one as that guy in the video on the bridge. Cryptech says, Kagan did more than just waiting in the Jeep. He is KK. The voice is a significant element in this story. But it's like, if he did say, I waited in the Jeep, like, is he really going to think the police are going to give him a plea deal if that's not true? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Hopefully it is going to play out, and very soon. But like, I was thinking, it's like, Tony Klein seems to me like the type of person, if he knew that the police were about to arrest him for these murders, I think he would like put a bullet through his head. he seems to really love his mom, at least according to his Facebook. So I don't know that he would do that to his mom, like commit suicide so soon after his dad dying earlier this year. But I don't know. I don't know why people are really contacting Tony and maybe pushing him over the edge. Let's see. XTY, you all don't think that the phone mic recording played over tiny speakers in an auditorium or second generation on a computer can really sound like anyone? Yeah, I mean, obviously, a sound recording could change in different um, places, and obviously they're outside when it happened. But I would be interested to know if Libby's voice sounded the same on the recording. And if you saw my first video, I kind of tried to analyze the recording, and to me, when they released Guys and then the space and then Down the Hill, it sounded to me like maybe Abby screaming Libby. I don't know. If you go to the Indiana State Police website and you turn up the volume and wear earphones or whatever, it's more clear. That static part, it sounds like a girl screaming. I don't know why the police would have left that in. Hi, generally, Jenny. Maybe the voice is off because the person was hustling across the bridge and was out of breath. Obviously, it seems like either Tony or Kegan, if they had walked from CPS, I think it's like 10 minutes, they would have been out of breath. And there was some rumors about the residents at the south side of the bridge. That's the side of the bridge where the girls filmed the guy. There were rumors that a shady looking character was down in that area around 1 o'clock. Then he was near Freedom Bridge all the way near CPS at 1:30. So whoever this is was doing a lot of walking. If we're to believe all these different witnesses, which I don't see why we would not. Kagan also said Tony slept with one of his friends when the girl was only 17 and Tony was in his 40s. So obviously, yeah, Tony seems to have a thing for younger girls. But I mean, like 8th grade, thinking he's going to hook up with them. Thank you, Hayden. I appreciate it. Do you think law enforcement knows who BG and are waiting to gather evidence, or they have no clue? I want to believe they are so close, but not sure. I mean, what would be the evidence in the obviously Kagan seems to possibly be cooperating because he wants to not have a long prison sentence for his CSAM. So did police say, or his public defender or whatever, since he can't afford a lawyer, did they say, you're going to be in jail for 50 years for the CSAM if you do not start talking about Delphi? So did he say, okay, I was involved, but I sat in the Jeep. My dad did it. We threw out the knife when we were crossing the bridge. And is that the evidence that police have been waiting for? It seems like the river search took about a month. I was really surprised that it took so long and was doubtful that they would actually find anything, but it seems like they may have. There was some recent talk about a week ago about a helicopter going from, I don't know if it was a military base or whatever. It seemed to have landed maybe, I forget, I don't want to, 3 miles from the Wabash River search. And it stayed there for 2 hours. So people are speculating maybe they finally found the knife used in the killings. And maybe, I don't know, are they currently running DNA tests on it? And then if it comes back to be the girls, then they'll arrest Tony. I don't know. I think Tony was pretending not to be the dad when talking about his dad to the girl. I think. So you think Tony was pretending to be Anthony Schatz? I don't know. Sorry, I'm confused. Thank you again, Tom. I definitely hear KK loud and clear in the down the hill portion. Yeah, to me, it doesn't totally match up, but like I said, I'm not sure. Tracy says that Anthony Schott's dad was likely another catfish pick. Yeah, but if Tony's looking to hook up in person, is he maybe hoping that one of these girls would be like, "Oh yeah, Tony, you're so hot." It seems like in one of the chats with one of these teenage girls, they asked, "Would you be open to hooking up with a 40-year-old?" And she said yes. I'm not sure if that was one of the chats where she then said, "All right, send me the picture of the guy." Who knows which picture was sent? Hi, Bianca. This whole case is so creepy. Those poor little girls. Yeah, I know. It's like, I think we get lost sometimes in trying to figure out these facts, and we forget that these were two eighth-grade girls who were murdered for whatever reason was so stupid. Phones in 2017 were not as good as phones today. So if you record your voice on a current phone, it may sound like you because the phone is better. I spent $1,500 on an iPhone 10 and I refuse to buy another one for $1,500. So I'm still with an iPhone 10, which is maybe 2018. So I don't know that it's that far off. I'm glad to know that I said something funny 25 minutes ago. Let's see. Wouldn't someone who's involved with CSAM also be the kind of person who knows? Oh, somebody already said that. Sorry. Wish you would take callers. I'd love to call in. Yeah, so I did these chats in June, and I thought people would act like adults, but people came on video and they showed an adult movie. So that was fun trying to get that off the screen as quick as possible. And then like 3 other people called in and like were saying racial slurs repeatedly. So I didn't want to have to deal with that this time. So I don't know if I can hold on. Yeah, so that's why I'm only the only person on screen. I would prefer to have a bunch of people also on screen and calling in, but to be honest, I was burned once and I just don't trust people. Let's see. Sorry if this is boring with just me, but that's what we're going with for tonight. I'm doing another chat Thursday, October 6th for people who could not make it tonight. So I don't know, maybe I'll think of something to add more people next time. I did try to ask Paul Holes, the famous detective, to join so we can get like an investigative perspective, but he said, Tom Webster, I don't know her. So I didn't get a response, but I tried. Let's see. It was in selfie mode. Yeah, so there's some speculation what position Libby was in and the phone, what position the phone was in. Sorry. At the when she filmed the guy on the bridge. Some people think she was doing a selfie mode, and obviously you see something in the screen real quick where people think it's Abby's sweatshirt or the side of her body that the police cropped out. My speculation was that they went to the end of the bridge. I think Libby took photos. They walked along the bridge. They get to the end of the bridge. Libby sits down on the side of the train tracks as Abby stands and walks around in circles and just talking. I think Libby went on Snapchat at that point and maybe uploaded the photos then, which I think the timestamp was 2:07. And maybe she was looking on Snapchat and like adding filters and stuff like that. Who knows if she was thinking of communicating with Anthony Schatz. Maybe she finished with Snapchat. I don't think people speculated, was it a Snapchat video? I think it may have been just a regular phone video. And I think maybe she clicked video. Maybe she had her knees out where she was like kind of resting her arms on her knees. And maybe she just put her phone to the side of her right thigh as the guy was walking along. And then she put it in her pocket. But I don't know at what point after 43 seconds she could have stopped the video. I don't know. Hi, Grunstruck. I think his dad asked Kagan to find a girl. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Tony seems kind of pervy. Obviously, Kagan does too. That's all he did all day was like chat with these girls and look for more pictures and stuff. Sorry, I'm just going through comments still. First cowboy said, I heard Tony is moving to the county jail. What? Apparently, I mean, if you follow the case, I think I said in my video, he's had a bunch of problems with his foot from diabetes, and part of it may have been amputated. So he was in like a nursing home in the hospital for, I think, 5 weeks, maybe this past spring or last year. I don't know where he'd be moving to. Let's see. This idea of motive is flawed. These are two children. The motive isn't going to make sense to us. It's going to be sadism and just pure evil. Trying to ascribe too much logic to it is a mistake, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm really curious to know exactly what happened because nothing really makes sense to me. Let's see. Tony should have been locked up for domestic violence when Kagan, oops, when Kagan was not fully formed. I think I read that maybe after, I don't know if it was after, Tony's had like quite a few violent incidents, and I'm not sure if it was after the toilet incident with his son or with his stepson. He apparently served time in jail on weekends, I guess, so he could continue making money for the family, maybe possibly for a year. But I mean, he's obviously done so many things. If you saw my video about all his different charges, it's like, why is he not in jail? And if he was doing these CSAM stuff, why isn't he in jail for that right now? Let's see. People said he was smart enough to have only do it on Kagan's phones and not his own. But I wonder, did police take Tony's phone on February 25th during the raid? I don't know. Some of these theories are so far-fetched. Yeah, I agree. But I mean, if we don't know anything, you got to try and think of something. If Tony and Kagan are guilty, then that explains why the sketches are of an older and younger male. Okay, but why in August 2019 are they putting out like that second sketch? To me looks like a thin, athletic 20-year-old guy. Why would they put that out if they know it was Kagan or Tony? It's like neither of them look anything like that. I do agree that Tony sometimes does look younger than he was 48 at the time of the murder, so he did look somewhat younger in his face, at least. I was going to say something else, but I'm not going to. Hi, Dustin. I think I already went over this. Yeah, I actually did. Thoughts on the use of the word guys. People said like a guy who's originally from the South would not say guys. He'd say like all of y'all or something. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, I say guys, but when I'm talking to a random group of people, which hardly ever happens, but anyway. Are we done yet? What is it? An hour and a half. All right, I'll keep going if you want me to. Let's see. Thanks, Jimmy Hoffa. We finally found you. The two different sketches were symbolic to the police because they knew it was more than one person already. Kagan and others or someone else. More arrests coming soon. Be patient. Yeah, I'm curious to know. Some people think that, I mean, obviously that press conference happened April 2019. I just showed that gun was found late April or early May. Am I right? It was 2019. So I don't know if the police did know about the Kleins specifically being involved at the August 2019 press conference. They did say, or Doug Carter was like, we could have interviewed you or someone close to you, which obviously they had already interviewed the Kleins. But how did both, I mean, Kagan failed part of his lie detector, but how did Tony pass his? I don't know that he took a lie detector, but he was interviewed that first night. Oh, yeah, here's another rumor. Also, there are rumors unspoken of anymore that Libby was to go to the police on that Tuesday. I have heard this reference, but I've never heard any confirmation. I don't think the family ever said anything like this, and they would obviously know. Not that they would necessarily reveal it to random people on the internet. Yeah, I don't know that this is true or what exactly the reason was. Did she say to Anthony Schatz, I'm going to the police tomorrow? But what would Anthony Schatz have done unless she sent nude pictures and she was upset that he catfished her? I don't know. But like I said, she still was talking to Anthony Schatz the day of the murders. Who knows what the context was, but I don't know. The Kleins are tangential. If you remember, Carter mentioned international tips. Anthony Schatz has an international reach. Well, I think if you've looked online and seen people, like one of the most frustrating things to me is people like would write these things online and say, I tipped it in, and it was like the most random thing that would not help the police at all. And I'm not acting like anything I come up with is necessarily better than anybody else, but it's just like if he says international tips, it could be somebody in Timbuktu, like, oh, Ron Logan owns the property. That's the tip internationally. I don't know. Oh, I thought this was for me. Any hotels around Delphi? I never searched that. Does anyone know a general description of Ski Mask Guy? Not that I have seen. What about Kegan wanting his father to be proud of him? Like, I can be a tough guy like you, like trying to prove something, just speculating here. So I was wondering if the rumor is true that maybe Kegan did eventually get the girls to go on the other side of the creek with Tony. And if Kegan says, oh, I waited in the Jeep while my dad was murdering them and I did not know, could it have been a situation where they were maybe going to do see Sam or at an extreme? Well, no, a snuff video would be murder. And Kegan, I don't know, would go along with that. But did Kegan maybe say, Dad, no, don't progress this to wherever you're going? Keep in mind, Tony has a really bad temper and is bipolar. So did Kegan say, Dad, no? And Tony, obviously, is a very dominating father Kegan's entire life. Did he say, no, Kegan, just get out of here, go back to the car? I don't know. How is it possible for a 400-pound man to get in a red two-door sports Jeep and commit such a heinous double homicide? He said he was 300 pounds at the time, but people speculated because the police description initially, I believe, was 5'6" to 5'10" and maybe 180 to 220 pounds. So was he saying, oh, I think it was to Barbara McDonald. He said, oh, I was around 300, 310 pounds at the time of the murders. At that time, was that him trying to deflect that it could have been him on the bridge? And also for the red Jeep, if you saw my video, my recent one, Kegan did post 2 Jeep pictures. He was standing outside of a movie theater, and I did change the lighting, and it is him standing in front of it. And he showed a picture of him in the driver's seat, but he said to police, I don't drive. And he said, I don't have a car. So I don't know. It's messed up, but there is some connection there. What do you think about the cousin being arrested and being at the cross streets? Then he said he was watching WWE. I'm not sure what this is about. So we talked about with Fig Solves, I just said about the cousin was arrested, I think, on an older DUI charge. I don't know about the cross streets that you're talking about. He said he was watching WWE. So in my video, Kagan said he was watching it on the night of the 13th, the night of the murders. I Googled WWE pay-per-view, and it happened Sunday night, the 12th. So like I said, I don't know if Kagan was misremembering or doing his usual lying. Hi, Hannah. Thank you. I appreciate it. Doug Carter is very honest. Yeah, I mean, he's a good guy. Libby's dad got busted for meth. He then told cops who he got it from after police arrested Ashley. She lost her kid, and Libby's dad testified in court against Ashley Garth. Yeah. Do you have like a court document that proves that? I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I have heard that similar rumor, but I've just never seen like any confirmation about it. How could nobody recognize the guy on the bridge? This has been a national case. He must have at least one of the following: relatives, neighbors, coworkers. I totally agree with that. I just don't understand. And if it was Kagan or Tony, and Tony's dad knew that Kagan was raided for CSAM, and he said it was because of relation to the Delphi murders, chatting with Libby, wouldn't the dad recognize Tony's voice or Kagan's? I don't know that he would have covered for even his son or his grandson. He's apparently was a good person. I don't know. Rachel, hi Rachel. I still haven't ruled out that it was just a random psycho who wanted to kill that day and found the victims. I agree with that, but it does seem like the evidence is pointing toward Tony, especially, and possibly Kagan is starting to talk. Mindy, is this case going to be solved? It seems to be going in the right direction, but we'll see. Hopefully soon. Kagan's CSAM trial is currently scheduled for January. I don't know what's going to happen. Is he going to do a plea deal for that? And then they finalize that, and then Tony will be arrested and Kagan will not have a CSAM trial? I don't know. I'm so far behind on comments. Sorry. I'm trying to get. I think Carter knows exactly who it is, but there is not enough to send to grand jury or to directly indict him. Well, if he thinks it's Tony, is Kagan finally talking going to be the final piece of the puzzle that he's been talking about? This is Reality says this was a premeditated crime. Yeah, like I said, I think the stuff in the guy's jacket is so abnormal that something was up. Let's see. Ryan asked, did something leak about Tony's involvement? Well, I mean, there was the interview from August 2020 with Kagan and the police where the police said, we think it's your dad. And then apparently Kagan, within the past few weeks, said, or actually within the past few days, it was leaked that Kagan said he was waiting in the red Jeep while someone else killed the girls, presumably while Tony was doing it. Apparently, he passed 3 girls before finding his victims. I think you're talking about the guy on the trails, and I think it was a teenager with 4 or 3 friends near Freedom Bridge. And she said she was 5'6", and the guy she saw was like an inch taller. So Tony could possibly be like 6 foot, almost 6'1". Wouldn't you think that somebody, a 5'6" person, would not say a 6'1" person is an inch taller? So that leads to think, is there a third person other than Tony and Kagan? Delphi only has a couple of Airbnbs. Hotels are located in neighboring cities. Thank you, Kimmy. That comes from the murder sheet. Police have never mentioned Tony one time. This is out of hand. Well, they did mention Tony in Kagan's interview. So why would they be saying to Kagan, we know it's your dad, if they don't think it was his dad? It just seems like a pointless thing to say that. The staging is so puzzling. Why take the time? Yeah, I mean, I really didn't look into the exact I mean, I did look the definitions of staging and moving, but I don't know, it's too confusing. I didn't want to look in more. But I mean, obviously in the Ron Logan document, it references staging. So I don't know what to say about this, to be honest. But it seems like really, I mean, it's not bad enough to kill two eighth-grade girls and then possibly do even more horrible things to their bodies. And I just feel so bad for these police who had to like do at the crime scene and see all this horrible stuff. I don't know. How could Kagan know Libby didn't show up if he wasn't there? But why would he even say that she didn't show up if, I don't know, it's confusing. Yes, Tony bit, I guess, his ex-wife's stomach in that one incident. Hi, Lynn. Have you seen the picture floating around of Tony and a friend that says Tony is the most wanted in Peru, something like that? Yes, I think that was about a month ago, I guess on somebody's Facebook. I guess it was a recent photo of Tony sitting on a front porch with another guy. And I think the guy posted the photo like, I'm hanging out with Peru's most wanted, which people thought was really inappropriate. And then Tony was photographed recently. I guess he loves the Kokomo Raceway. He was photographed in a chair, I guess, hanging out there. And people are wondering if he's the killer, why is he really going out and hanging out? I don't know. And I was just thinking before, it's like Tony Kagan was in Las Vegas in February 2018. Tony went to visit him. And if you've seen the pictures, that was where I guess they went to the Hoover Dam and they're in a selfie smiling. It's like if they are both responsible for the Delphi murders, I mean, it's just so horrible that they're like, oh yeah, here we are a year later, smiling and having a great life while Abby and Libby are dead. I don't know. And I do believe in the death penalty for anybody who's wondering, including people who turn their cars without using their blinker. Anyway. Carter uses same verbal lines for the Flora fire, which was 4 girls who died in a house fire, which is still unsolved. Fire was arson, is proven. Why no arrests? Yeah, I'm not that familiar with that case, but I know that. Well, I don't know that. I guess there was across from the Pizza King, and that owner got arrested for CSAM, like a lot of guys in that area. And people were wondering if he was molesting one of the girls. I don't know. That's total rumor, and I'm just basing that on some things I'm barely remembering, so don't quote me on that. Sorry. So the person who said about communicating via radio was giving ridiculous theories. Sorry. Cassidy says they asked about stomachs in Kagan's interview for a reason. Every question was planned. Yes, I agree with that. And then people were recently saying, I mean, obviously, if you read the interview with Kagan, they said, what did they say? Oh, they brought up the toilet incident with Tony, and Kagan said, oh, yeah, that guy should be killed. And it appeared as though Kagan was unfamiliar with that story because he was just a young child when his 3rd grade half brother had that happen to him. And so then they talk about, well, if a guy walks into a gas station and he's on video, but he says, I don't remember, how do you convict him? And people thought maybe they were saying Kagan is on the bridge, but he's saying, oh, I don't remember. It was not me. I don't know. But yes, I agree that the detectives definitely prepared for that interview. Kagan is not physically capable of being on the bridge. He sits behind a computer screen, period. Don't disagree with you. I watched your 4-hour-long video on Delphi. Congratulations. The part about the cell phone being erased was a great catch. I forget what I said. I don't even know what that's about. There's too many facts. Oh my gosh. Okay. I think I'm like a half hour behind the comments. Sorry, everybody. How did the killer, Ladybird, you're getting a lot of attention tonight. Kidding. How did the killer ensure the victims were alone? He would have to have known they were dropped off. Only thing I can think of, knew they were dropped off and how long they had. So what I was just saying before, it seems like a shady character was at the south side of the bridge, which there was some recent talk. I guess Julie Melvin was on Sleuth Intuition's channel maybe a month ago. And she gave a story about the witnesses who lived at the south side of the bridge, which is the driveway. And she said the woman, I guess, described the guy as being a dark figure. I don't know if he was just evil looking, or I think it was not dark skin, but just a dark energy. And apparently her husband came out and growled at the guy or something. I don't know. And then they drove to town to do some errands. And people have wondered if somebody parked on that private drive, but it seems like it's a one-way or one-lane driveway. So if those homeowners were leaving, they would have seen a strange car parked there. So the bridge guy is possibly down on the south side at 1 o'clock. He goes all the way down to Freedom Bridge at 1:30. And my thought is, I mean, the girls were dropped off, I think, at 1:38. So does he go around? He obviously would have not seen anybody at the opposite side of the bridge, so he knew nobody was there. So if the girls showed up, he knew that they were the only ones there. And I don't know if he was hanging out. That one parking area is known as across from the Mears family farm, that barn. And if he's sitting there's a bench there, you can see toward Freedom Bridge. You can see toward Monon High Bridge. I mean, that's the best spot. So I don't know if there was some kind of interaction there where the girls saw him, were creeped out. And that's one of the reasons why Libby started using her phone to record. Can I get a quick recap? No. There's too much to recap. Not being rude, I'm just kidding, but I don't even know what to recap. Let's see. Is there one comment or detail that you recall as the thing that grabbed you on this case? I think that's for me, I guess. So like I was saying in my first video, the only reason I started to look into this is because I've had some success finding information about non-crimes previously. And then February 1st, 2020, I'll talk about this real quick. It has nothing to do with Delphi. But February 1st, 2020 was a shooting in in Pennsylvania. There was a snowstorm. Some jerk neighbor couple was throwing snow on some guy's driveway. He shot them both and then he committed suicide. I guess he realized it was stupid to kill his neighbors over snow. So 10 days later, people were still talking about it online, and they said they could not find a picture of the killer, no journalist news story or whatever. So I decided to try and find it. If you saw my Missy Beavers video, I showed it, how I found it. So I found this guy's picture after 4 hours. He ran marathons, and I found his picture in a marathon. So then that was February 10th, 2021. A few days later was the 4-year anniversary, and I had never paid attention to Delphi. I always thought it was in Colorado, and I read the headlines, and I thought it was maybe this big rocky gorge because they said they were on a trail hiking or whatever. So I just started looking into it in February on the 2021 for the 4-year anniversary, and it instantly grabbed me. So just the entire case. But like I said, a year and a half later and 1,000 hours, I still have no clue what happened. So hopefully we'll find out soon. Hi, Bonnie. The voice I know has 2 huge white pit bulls that he has attack where the dog bites on the backs of legs. I mean, I don't think Tony brought his pit bull to through the cemetery. Some people think maybe Kagan was driving. Tony gets dropped off at the cemetery, but I think there was an older guy working who was one of the witnesses. He was in one interview. It's kind of hard to find. So I don't know that there was an actual dog at the crime scene. I would say no. Wouldn't you think a dog would be barking when girls are screaming and getting murdered? Let's see. I won't say this, but thank you if that's a compliment. You couldn't write this case if you tried so many twists. Yeah, I know it's so crazy, so frustrating, but hopefully it'll be solved soon. Let's see. I'm not going to post this, but apparently Tony wrestled his wife to the ground and bit her hard on her stomach. I already talked about Kagan. The police said Kagan he said, we have the money account going to Libby. I'm not exactly sure exactly why or what details. They did a great job with the computer forensics. Yeah, I mean, it was good that they did get a lot of those CSAM chats, but they did not get, I guess, the most important ones. And like I said in my video, the police said, we do not have your search history from February 10th to the 15th. But I showed if you search something on Google and you put in a term, that term shows up in the results page. So it'll be like google.com/Delphi plus murders if you search that. So even if they don't know what he typed, it would show up like the internet service provider if they know what every single web page that was connected to. Have law enforcement ever confirmed Tony is a suspect? No. Like I said before, police have not issued anything, as far as I remember, in the past 9 months since the December 6th saying we want to know about Anthony Shots, which I think they only did that because a reporter, I don't know the exact details. I think a reporter got a hold of Kagan's 2020 interview, and it's not, I'm not talking about Murder Sheet. It was I was going to say an actual journalist, but that sounds rude. And they were maybe going to do a story, and that's why the police did that 10 p.m. announcement saying, if you know about Anthony Shots, please let us know. But yeah, they have not said anything about Tony or even mentioned Kagan's name, as far as I remember. The motive is easy, sexual deviance. Yeah, I mean, that seems to be at the heart of it. Hi, girl, or yeah, girl. They've never said anyone is a suspect. Yes, that's true. Who needs that many phones? Well, some of them were pretty old, and it's like, I don't know. He said he had not used some of them in quite a while, but they obviously had CSAM on them. Is FBI still in the Delphi case? I do not know. But there have been rumors that the FBI and I guess Indiana State Police and the local police may have been conflicted over their various thoughts on potential suspects and motives and evidence. So I don't know. The FBI, I think, were the agency who did the Ron Logan search warrant. I don't know. It seems like there may have been an issue where police thought Ron Logan was the killer at first, and they followed that lead. They did not think the Kleins were involved, so they're looking into Ron. And obviously that led nowhere. Ron was never arrested. And Tony's phones, God only knows. Yeah, I would hope police at some point have taken Tony's phone. I think Burner ES should have like extra tracking stuff in them nowadays. Yeah, but I'm curious why, if Kagan had so many phones, why would he also, if he was doing horrible things on his main phone and the other ones, why would he also need a burner phone? I don't know. Kagan failed a lie detector test. Like I said in my video, like, could he ever pass one? Oh my gosh, Billy, some of your comments. Let's see. I wonder if someone was renting the phone for some reason at the time of the seizure. Don't know how they missed it. Yeah, but I mean, it was there. It was not found. I think they rated them at like what, noon on the 25th. Kagan returns home at 7:30 p.m. and he said it was on the top of the microwave, I think, and on top of the counter. I don't know. It doesn't add up to me. And why would the police leave without like turning that whole entire house upside down? Is Kagan's cousin Travis Trexler still locked up on a warrant? I don't know. Sorry. I don't like comment or highlighting comments that say nice things about me, but I just want to say thank you, Bonnie, for saying that. Apparently, I'm not that good. I'm 0 for 2 with Delphi and Missy Beavers. Let's see. Yeah, so let's talk about this. Anyone know if the shoe is considered one of the 2 articles of clothing that were apparently missing from the scene, or are there 2 additional items to the shoe? So I was kind of confused by, I guess it was in Ron Logan's document. It seemed to say that there were 2 pieces of clothing missing, and people are speculated, I think, that it was Libby's sock and Libby's underwear, maybe. So yeah, I've never seen any confirmation exactly if like her sock, if maybe Libby's underwear. I think there was a maybe on the police scanner. Did they say they found underwear in the river or on the edge of the river or the creek? Sorry, I don't know. I'm just not sure about this stuff. Judy says there has to be someone that recognizes the killer just by his mannerisms and his clothing. I agree. And it's like, why do people in Kagan and Tony's family and friends not recognize him, or have they tipped him in, or both of them in? Oh my gosh. I can see Kagan on the bridge, but I can't see him in a kayak. Yeah, some people, in addition to the jet ski, they said maybe the killer escaped on a kayak. I don't think so. I think the missing undergarments are a sock and underwear. And people wondered, was that like a souvenir or something like that? But did Tony take that and burn it also with his clothes? Like I said, this is just speculation. Tom may need to slow comments since he responds to nearly all of them. I'm trying to. If it requires like a response or something. Besides the big channels that get recommended, does anyone else know, like Tom here, that they can recommend that is small that YouTube wouldn't suggest to your girl about Delphi? Like I said, Fig Solves, he doesn't have a lot of videos, but he seems to be trying to think of good ways to get information. So I would suggest that FIGSOLVES. And I'm not dissing anybody else's channel by not recommending them. Let's see. I hope she kicked him hard in the nads. I bet she did. Yeah, honestly, if you do that to a man, he's going to be really PO'd. And I think I mentioned that in my first video. So did she do that to him with her shoe? He grabs it and pulls it off. And he's like, you don't, I'm saying Tony, who has a horrible temper. Did Libby kick him in the nads, which if you're in a situation with a man, ladies, who's doing something, that's a good option. And did Tony be like, oh no, you're not doing that to me, and he kills them? I don't know. Have they ever confirmed if the girls were abused, I guess their bodies? I have to say this, you can criticize the police about making mistakes, but I find it really frustrating when there's ever any kind of major news story and you read an article online. Almost always they say an anonymous source told us. It's like people cannot keep their mouths shut. So I really respect that in this case for 5.5 years, most of these details have not been leaked by like, I'm sure there's like hundreds of people who know specific details and they've kept their mouths shut. So I do admire that about all the law enforcement who've been involved with this. Sorry, I'm reading these comments. Grizzly True Crime has some good stuff. I really don't watch a lot of YouTube videos about Delphi, to be honest. And I'm not acting like I'm an expert or mine are better than anybody else. Yes, can we put the comments in slow mode? I'm using StreamYard, so it's actually slower than I think YouTube. So sorry if people are having problems with it. Let's see. New Zealand Mysteries. I don't know if you've done Delphi content. I think she was talking about Delphi content. Pull off shoe, pull trousers, pull hands down the leg, carry over shoulder. It seems like there's not a lot of DNA evidence because Tony and Kegan have apparently both given DNA years ago. Kegan gave his, I believe, the night of the raid in 2017. I don't know when Tony gave his. In my video, my recent video, I showed that Tony supposedly sent this message on Facebook. I think he said, I passed a lie detector test and gave my DNA, and I told them to go F themselves. So if it is Tony, how did that happen? I don't know. Let's see. Cryptex is no joke either. That's the first time I've heard of Cryptex. No offense, but I guess it's another true crime channel. Let's see. Remember when Doug Carter mentioned that the Delphi public will have to reckon with some hard truths when this is exposed? No one would be surprised about the clients. Truth is more grotesque and disturbing. Yeah, I know. It's like he did say, people have said, you'll be surprised that who is responsible for this, but nobody would be surprised if it was Tony and Kegan, although I just said before that I'd be shocked if it was them on the bridge, but I would not be shocked if they're involved in some way. Hi, Nathan. The park is really small, according to those who have actually been there. I don't know if you're referring to Riley Park that I was showing before, the place where they practice softball the day before the murders, maybe. There is speculation he had cleaner of some sort on his person. Yeah, I said that before, that maybe the murderer brought, I don't know, bleach or something else to maybe, if his DNA got on the girls, he then maybe poured something on it to hope to remove DNA. I don't know. Does Doug Carter or the FBI track YouTube true crime podcasts? Highly doubt it. Although I'm sure they're big fans of mine. Not. That's a joke. Oh, yeah, I have to give shout outs. AB, somebody said they're watching it later. They're international. Hi. Hi to everybody on Delphi Docs, my fan club. Yeah, quick side note. I did not go searching for comments about myself, but I do go to Reddit to see if there's updates. And I did see, like, on 3 different groups, they did post my latest video. So thank you to everybody who said nice things about me. And if you disagree with me and my video and my stuff, that's totally fine too. Bastards. I submitted you to the FBI. No, I'm kidding. How did the drones missed the girls? Like I said earlier, I was looking at the photo or video from after the murders where there's yellow tape up, and it doesn't really seem like there's areas that could be where 2 girls could be covered. And obviously, if you know the case, Orange Truck Guy, aka PB, I think they were on the other side of the creek, opposite the girls. He saw a deer. I believe he turned on his phone to zoom in using the video or camera. Not that he was actually taking a video, but using that to zoom in. And he said he saw them. So it's like, how could he see them from across the creek, but nobody found them the previous night, or the helicopters were straight above? I guess he saw clothing. And I think Libby was wearing a black Delphi swimming sweatshirt, and maybe under that was her tie-dye shirt that she wore in a few pictures. I'm not certain about that anyway. Let's see. Money is used in grooming. So you're talking about the money account where Kegan, as Anthony Schatz, was maybe saying, here's some money, hoping that that would entice Libby in the future to meet in person. But like I said, if Kegan got photos and videos from 100 girls, he only met one that we know of, that Kayla girl who did an interview with Murder Sheets. So what was it about Libby that possibly escalated this to murder or meeting in person? I don't know. He was sending her money for nudes. Yeah, I don't know. I think if the clients were involved, they would have taken her phone. Yeah. So, I mean, if they thought that if they sent a picture of Tony and they freaked out, like, we have to get the phone from that girl. First of all, why would they think murder is the answer? And did they take the phone? I think it was located somewhere else. There is no confirmation about that. There is speculation. Was her video uploaded to iCloud automatically once she clicked stop? And that's how they got access to it? I'm not sure. Do you ever have days when you think the clients are not involved at all? Yes, when I see the guy on the bridge and he's not dressed like them, to me, he doesn't sound like them. And to me, his body does not look exactly like them, especially since his jacket has stuff stuffed into it. So, do I think that they're not involved at all? I would say that's a low percentage. I think they might have some involvement, but I'm conflicted about could that be them in the video? I think Kagan left grandparents, went to his cousin Travis, and left a phone there. I mean, like I said, you would think the police would have asked the grandparents, were your son and grandson here on this date? And somebody recently said that they had communicated with Tony's mom, sending her messages on Facebook, and she said she only saw Kagan on like holidays. I don't know. Was thinking he's a cheapskate, not $500, but 20. Yeah, I don't know where Kagan would get $500, but if he's selling photos, I don't know how he'd get it. Kegokyo, please spell it right. It's Kegocchio. I'm smiling, but I'm glad that people are calling him Kegokyo. For people who don't know, I said Kagan lies more than Pinocchio, but instead of his nose getting bigger, his stomach does, and so I call him Kegokyo. Hi, USA Libertarian. I think combination of money for pics and also to prove he was wealthy. Yeah, but it's like if Kagan he's spending all his time getting these pictures of girls, wouldn't he just move on from Libby if she was not giving him photos for free? I don't know. And I said in my video, did he say she was annoying because she maybe did send him a photo, but she still wanted to chat and meet with Anthony Schatz? And he was like, yeah, I'm not Anthony Schatz. Oh my gosh. Kagan would have turned a jet ski into a submarine. Somebody yelled at me that I was making fat jokes. I was not really. I just don't think Kagan deserves any sympathy. I honestly think they know who the killer is, just lack hard evidence against him. Well, hopefully with Kagan saying that he was involved somehow, we'll finally maybe get Tony arrested. Those who went to school with Kagan said he never moved his butt. He is not a football player or athlete. I am well acquainted with football. My father coaches. Yeah, I think Kagan did not even graduate high school. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Yeah, but then he said he graduated from UNLV, and I contacted them, and they said they never heard of him. Tried it. I think when law enforcement says money account, they mean the account KK was using that had pictures of him with a bunch of cash. I don't think they mean like money was actually transferred between them. I can get how you would think that, but it seems to me like they may have indicated some kind of transfer. And like I showed in my video, Kagan did have, I forget, Venmo or Cash App. I don't know, as Kagan client, but I could not find an Anthony Schatz account, but I'm sure he deleted it. Bad acid reflux. I'm sorry to hear that. Anyway, I love these screen names. I really hope Kagan isn't trolling the police with this search. Well, when it seemed like the police were there for almost 5 weeks, I think they started around August 19th, and they're still out there until a few days ago. I was wondering, would he's obviously a liar, Kegokyo. Would he really lie about throwing something in there and force the police to spend 5 weeks going through the river? Like, what would his motivation be to say that he was not involved for 5.5 years and then be like, oh, well, my trial's coming up in September for CSAM and I might be in the jail for decades. Let me just start lying about stuff and put the police on a wild goose chase. I don't know. I can't see him lying about being involved. Keigokyo kind of made my year. Thank you. I'm glad. Let's see. Just wanted the driver, not who all was in the car, just the driver. I think Kagan threw that out there a long time ago. Yeah, it's curious to me, like I said before, why are they asking just for the driver? And if they have video of the car, wouldn't they be able to see like the body type of the guy walking back to it? I don't know. Okay, thank you. Oh my gosh, I can't post that one. I really feel like Kegokyo is too dumb for any of this. Do you think Tony is smart enough for it? I mean, who knows what the initial motive was for that day if the clients did show up at those trails. Hi, Nikki. This is going to be an unpopular opinion, but what if we're not supposed to be focusing on the bridge guy? What if he wasn't involved at all? Okay, so my honest reaction to that, this is so long ago she posted, she's probably gone by now, so I can be honest. I'm kidding. What's my reaction? So the video is 43 seconds long, and at the end of it is a guy saying, guys, go down the hill. He has to be involved at some point. Whether he's the one who stuck a knife in them and killed them, I don't know. But I mean, the police have been saying we want to know who this guy is, and they have not been able to identify him yet. So sorry, Nikki. Do you think this case will be solved? If so, when? October 1st. Tony will be arrested after they get the DNA back from the knife. Hopefully, I wish. Not for me, but for the girls and their families. It's been a horrible 5.5 years for them. Marshall says that Vegas trip screams dark web really bad to me. I mean, I've heard this thing where people think that the Kleins videotaped or took photos of the murder. Like I said, there's a possible snuff film angle of this. I'm not sure that that's true or not. But some people think they went to Vegas to sell it. I'm not sure that I buy that because I believe that they planned that trip before. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just not sure what to think about that. It's possible. It's a 27-hour drive from Vegas, and they were back on the 25th. So they were gone the 21st to the 25th. If they flew, when did they buy the tickets? That's a good point, Ladybird. And I would imagine police would have looked into that. But like I said before, the FBI spokesperson said like the day after the raid, they don't have involvement. It's so weird. I think the Vegas trip was pre-planned to help fake an alibi. Yeah, I just want to clarify something. I clarified this in my pinned comment under my recent video. In my video, I said that Kagan posted on Facebook on February 12th that he started a job in Vegas. So I wondered if they had planned to murder them on the 13th, did he post that the day before? From what I was later shown, he later backdated that, even though it did not show that it was edited. There was some kind of like clock icon or something. So people said I was incorrect in stating that Kagan posted exactly on February 12th, 2017, before the murders, that he got a job in Vegas. I think he posted his Vegas job later And I think people said maybe March or May 2019, or maybe even 20. He then backdated it to the day before the murders, which in itself is shady as the 6th letter of the alphabet. Start counting which letter that is. I'm only saying this because of this phrase. Wouldn't it be crazy pants if ISP was searching for a thumb drive in the river after all this time? My reaction to that, sorry, I read these kind of as I post them. Why would they have a thumb drive in the Jeep after the murders? I mean, I could see like a phone and a knife, but why would they bring a thumb drive to the murders? That's just my honest reaction. Hi, Diana. It's still hard for me to believe that Kagan and Tony are the killers. Can Tony really be bridge guy? Like I've said like 20 times so far, I'm not sure that I can say that I feel like it's either of them on the bridge. Smash that like button. That's my first time ever saying that. And I'm kidding. You don't have to. Anyway, what's next? Cookie Whoopie Pie. The police must have checked into when they bought any plane tickets, right? I would assume so. I mean, it's like, how much did they look into the Kleins initially, and why did they believe them and not look into it more? It's going to seem so weird if they're convicted and police knew about them 2 weeks after the murders and they weren't able to figure it out. Not that I'm criticizing the police. I mean, who knows how difficult this is with all their evidence that might be conflicting. With catfishing and CSAM, I think trafficking should not be ruled out. These clients aren't smart. They obviously are involved with other people that could be worse criminals. Yeah, I was thinking, could Kagan have been involved with another guy who he did not know the identity, but somehow revealed information that the girls were going to be at the bridge? But with his recent supposed confession saying that he was waiting in the red Jeep, it obviously seems like he's saying his dad was the killer. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm just reading through these. Hi, Dustin. Great research in all videos. Fox 59 updated Kagan's bond bail amount, which was previously reported incorrectly. Bail is $265,000 cash bond. 26,500 previously reported was incorrect. So I'm not too familiar with this. I've never been arrested, thank God. I'm very well behaved. But apparently you can post, you only have to pay 10% of what your bail is or something like that. I know there's a lot of criminals who are watching, so maybe they can confirm. Sorry, kidding. Let's see. My King of Kings, KK was supposed to meet Libby, who said he never turned up, who later turned up dead. Can't be a coincidence. Yeah, like I said before, I've never seen confirmation which day and location Anthony Shaw supposedly said I was supposed to meet her, but she did not show up. I was thinking something else, but I forgot what it was. Julie Melvin and her husband walked across the bridge and got great footage from the area. So if you want to check her out, I guess YouTube, Julie Melvin. I saw one of her videos driving by CPS a long time ago. Oh my gosh, I'm not saying that. Kagan knows who it is. His knowledge and connections are being leveraged. Kagan, it has one E. Kagan is nowhere near bold enough to murder 2 kids. He is a keyboard pig who brokered CSAM. Yeah, I don't really see Kagan as being a murderer, but I can see Tony. 2 hours and 19 minutes? Oh my gosh. I'll go for about 3 hours. I'm still going through the comments. I hope you're at least finding this somewhat informative. It would be the most bizarre coincidence that Kagan was supposed to meet Libby, yet had nothing to do with her death. Yeah. Wonder how the cousin fits the build of Bridge Guy. I did see his Facebook, and he's thinner. But what I want to know is, like, I believe the witnesses said the killer, or the guy that they thought they saw on the bridge, had reddish hair. And obviously Tony and Kagan don't. Neither Kagan or Tony has bangs. In the Bridge Guy video, it looks like there's something hanging down his forehead. I don't know if it's a hat or what, or bangs. Carbun says, Bun, sorry. I do not think the grandfather would have turned them in. Yeah, I don't know. Unless, I guess maybe he said something to Tony, and Tony obviously would not really say, oh yeah, Dad, it was me. I just killed 2 8th graders. You can't tell body proportions exactly from the BG video, especially with the jacket with stuff in it. People? Okay. Oh yeah, so I wanted to say this. People protect their own. Kagan's grandfather obviously saw a lot of Tony's crimes and still communicates with him. And it seems like in the interview with Kagan's half-brother, or maybe the sister, a half-sister, I think they kind of said, even after Tony was beating up their mom, and she had like maybe black eyes or something, like Tony's family never like said anything. They would go to family functions and she'd have a black eye, and nobody like stood up for her. I'm not certain that that's what they said, but I think that was in that interview. Grunge Truck says, I see Tony. I think you're talking about the guy on the bridge. Tony Klein is a fashion icon. But seriously, though, it's like all his shirts have writing, and his jacket has Harley Davidson on it. And the guy on the bridge doesn't match the fashion choices of Kagan or Tony. It might seem stupid to say that, but I think it's somewhat reasonable. I've seen a few pictures of Tony on his bike, and he had jeans on. Yeah, I saw a recent one that was on somebody else's Facebook, but I forgot to even look at his pants. I'll have to look that up. BG video is beyond pixelating. Yeah, I know. It's so frustrating, like one frame to another. Just going through the comments again. Hi, Adam. I think you probably posted that like an hour ago. I'm sure you're eating snacks and watching TV right now. Jimmy Hoffa says the Kleins are involved together, but who's the third person? His cousin, possibly? Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard his voice, and I'm not sure that what I saw in the pictures really matched up. But if Tony and Kagan were in Delphi and the cousin is the guy on the bridge, then who was at the cousin's house on the adult videos, and exactly what time stamp did the police have those videos saying that they thought Kagan was not the murderer in Delphi? I don't know, lots of questions. Tamara thinks the crime was sexual in nature, but not an assault. I believe it was a failed kidnapping attempt. I don't know, like I said, who's really thinking, oh, I'm gonna kidnap 2 girls? Especially if it's one person, but obviously if there's 2 guys there, Kagan and Tony, it makes it a lot easier, especially if they have a gun, to control them. But what happened? Did they run across the creek and they panicked And by they, I mean the clients panicked that the girls were going to get them in trouble, and so they killed them. I think it's important to know who was trading with and what ring they're in. Obviously, the police said Kagan's Dropbox account led to one of the biggest CSAM ring investigations in Indiana history. Who knows if that's true? I have not seen any articles online like referencing another guy who was arrested as a result of this investigation. But obviously, people posted all the time that there's guys in Indiana getting arrested in that area for CSAM and meeting girls and molesting them, unfortunately. I don't see how he could be transferring money to Libby. There's no way she had a bank account without her grandparents' supervision, right? Well, like I said, on these cash apps, you can have people give you money. You don't need to really link. Actually, you probably do need to link your bank account, but don't need to necessarily withdraw stuff, I don't think. So I said if Kagan was trading CSAM, say he sells pictures for $100, he would have $100 on his Cash App account without having to make a transaction to somebody. So he could give that $100 to Libby. But like you said, at what point is she going to be cashing it out without her grandparents knowing? Whether Kagan has something to do with this crime or not, he is still a disgusting creep. I agree with that. Jane says, I do not believe Kagan would be on the bridge and do this crime. I heard one of the pieces of evidence in the Wabash was a burner phone, and that is probably where the video pics are. Who knows if it's still able to be retrieved? I have not done any research on phones that have been under the water for a long time to see if the data is still on there. I would doubt it would still be on there. But it might provide other evidence that it was somehow used at the time of the crimes. And like I said, if the knife is there and still has some kind of DNA, either of Abby and Libby and possibly the Kleins, obviously that's obviously going to be the biggest piece of evidence. Hi, Jenna. Do you think they will release the entire video out of desperation, and when? I would say no. I'm surprised they did not release more in the past because, I mean, it seems like for years they really didn't have any clue who it was. So why not give more part of the killer talking, even if the girls were sounding scared or something on it? But yeah, I don't think they're going to release it. Maybe it will be played at some kind of trial. I don't know that I would want to see it or hear it though, if the girls are screaming or something. Is it me or BG has kind of long hair or a mullet? I don't know because he was wearing a hoodie possibly, so it's kind of hard to tell. Or it's more than kind of hard to tell. Alicia says the clients are involved. You don't change your social media to appear like you and your son has been out of state for 2 years. Say, oh my God, what happened? When they simply asked, did you hear about Libby? Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of red flags with both Tony and Kagan and their social media. I was wondering about how much money the ISP have made in overtime since this started, the price of their new building, etc. I don't know. I mean, what I was thinking is like if Kagan has been withholding this information for 5.5 years, it's cost so much money. It's just so shady for him to. Obviously, he's trying to save his butt and his dad, but it's caused so much negative things. This case is so strange. This is why the public are gripped by it. Yes, I agree. Although I don't really think it's that nationally known. And I think Kelsey, Libby's sister, said she talks to people on the Purdue University campus, which is near Delphi, and they say they don't know about the case. Another memento said, I think both men took the girls down the hill and it started getting out of control, and Kagan ran and sat in the car because his father was out of control. It could be. I distinctly remember there being talk about pulling files from the cloud, not from the phone. Just putting this out there, legit have been following this case from the start. Abby and Libby need justice. Can you hear I said no on the BG voice recording? Like I said, at first I thought it said, we're trying to leave. But then I hear Libby. I'm not going to play it now, but if you want to watch my first video, it's in the audio section. Or just download it from the ISP website and turn it up and listen to it with headphones on. Does Tony get pleasure from hunting or killing someone? Well, like the person said before, he told his stepdaughter to run and he shot her with a BB gun, but I don't know if this is true. He obviously had that incident in high school, supposedly where he followed a girl in her cheerleader outfit all the way home, but I don't know. He has a history that's definitely shady and could lead to being a killer. He was found out because of the ski mask incident case, or sorry, the ski mask case, IP address when investigating Anthony Shott's connection. That's true. That's the reason that the police said they started to look into Kagan, because the girl said a guy was outside my window in a ski mask, and she had given her address to the Anthony Shott's profile. Police then contacted Comcast, and Anthony Shots was registered to the client address. Whomever is arrested will put it on Ron Logan. He is a defense attorney's dream. I agree that that first search warrant had a lot of interesting things that kind of pointed toward Ron, but years later, it just does not add up to me. Kagan did seem to try with another girl, but she brought a friend, yes, and he obviously said, I should have cut you and watched you bleed out. I don't know. Yeah, it looks like I'm 45 minutes behind in comments. Sorry. What are we at? 2.5 hours? I'm going to try to go through these comments quicker. Trafficking rings do this all the time, for what it's worth, okay? Something went wrong in the online conversation, and one of the clients decided they would assault them for revenge, snapped in the moment, and committed murder. Assault them how? Just like beat them up? Or, I mean, if you sexually assault somebody, you're going to transfer DNA likely. So I don't know that a sexual assault was necessarily their motive that day going there. I'm just reading through these comments. Give me a second. I think law enforcement is leaking info to the murder sheet to put more pressure on the perpetrator. I don't know. I mean, like I said, the police have been so good at keeping information from leaking. Why would they pick what was a random podcast back in December 2021? I don't know. I just don't think that police would be happy that murder sheet's like, oh yeah, everybody go down to the Wabash River to see what the police are doing related to Delphi. I heard the murder sheet source did not give them permission to release the information, puts the case, Kagan, and their source in jeopardy. I don't know. I think we can rule Ron out. I agree, but a lot of people don't. Does Kagan have a connection to Kokomo? I think it's 2Ks. It's a nearby town. Isn't that where Tony works? Isn't that the Chrysler building? Or not the Chrysler building, but the Chrysler plant? Thank you, Adam. Hi, Mrs. E. Another YouTuber broke it down, and if the river search isn't Delphi, it's an amazing coincidence. Yeah. I mean, it does seem odd that they would be out there for 5 weeks for something else, or even training. Just looking through comments again. My main reason, hi, little butterball. My main reason for believing that Ron Logan was not responsible for the murders is because if he was the perpetrator, why would he leave the girls on his own property? And also, why would he stage them and then go to the aquarium? I don't know. I thought I laid it out, or at least my opinion in my video, but I just don't see Ron as adding up. What do you think the important detail is in the video? What are they keeping from the public? I don't know. I mean, are you talking about what's not been released? Because there was speculation that people thought the guy said, you're trespassing. I'm a police officer. You have to go down the hill. I don't know that that was true or not. Hi, Chip. Thank you. I appreciate it. The ski mask girl was Kegan's roommate's ex-girlfriend. I'm confused. Murder Sheet has said they run things by law enforcement before making public. They're trying to cover the investigation, not solve the case. Yeah, I think they crossed the line, to be honest. Why would police want a bunch of people showing up at the river when Tony Klein is going to see that if he was involved in throwing that stuff in the river? I don't think the voice is legit. I think it's manipulated. Why would the police do that on purpose? And some people have said that they thought the face of the bridge guy was whatever manipulated later by the police. I don't understand that. The killer is wearing a blue Oakley foundational windbreaker. Yeah, I was never able to find a similar jacket, but I spent a hell of a lot of time trying. Jimmy Hoffa thinks Tony Klein's body matches perfectly. Jim said that Kagan's half-brother did not tell all he knew about the investigation. Cyber Sleuth said, when I interviewed a friend of Tony's, one of the things they said detectives asked them when they contacted them to question them was about Kagan and vehicles. Hi, Jessica. Thank you for joining. DNA King thinks it's Kagan saying guys down the hill. Actually, I'm almost 2 hours behind in the comments. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I'm sweating so bad. Anyway. Well, hold on. Let me try and get through these. Height comparison video is from Gray Hughes Investigates. All right, I'll have to look into that. Alicia, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Oh, I guess that was deleted. Hi, Scott. I think that was, like I said, almost 2 hours ago. You're probably gone by now. Tony broke a child's orbital socket. He's getting no apologies regardless. Yeah, I know. He's ridiculous. Although this person says Greeno had a video, maybe it was under Kat's YouTube channel. I feel so bad that I'm missing like almost 2 hours worth of comments. So I'm sorry if you posted something and I have not gotten to it yet. I've been going 2 hours and 42 minutes. I'll go probably like 3.5 hours, another 45, but I'll try to get through these comments. And I'm sorry for the silence when I'm looking at them, but I have no other idea what to do. Do we even know what Bridge Guy's complexion is like? We assume he's Caucasian, but otherwise, who knows? I mean, yeah, I would say he's Caucasian. And he talks, maybe I shouldn't say he talks like a Caucasian, but I just did, so there we go. Oh my gosh. All right, for a laugh, Tobe's biggest crime is his mustache. Have you seen the brief video of the firefighter at the restaurant when Kelsey was there doing video? High wishful thinking. No, I don't think so. What's Dropbox? It's an online file sharing where apparently Kagan created an account, uploaded inappropriate images, and was sharing them with other men. I guess in the rest of the 43-second video, law enforcement said at the end, you can see the one of the girls' faces, and at the end, and you can disappointment on one of their faces. I mean, yeah, I can't imagine how scared they were when this guy showed up. Hi, or Joey, I think you've asked a lot of questions. You should try and find the chopper video the day of the search, which I have watched it, because just after this gut told people the girls were found in the river, this guy, I saw a body in the river and 2 searchers in red were by it. Yeah, some people have said that they think the girls were in the river, but it just doesn't add up to me. Like, obviously, in the chopper search, you can see like a bunch of people like 6 to 8 people holding hands as they're going through the river searching. So why would people not see a body floating there? Hi, Lake Love. I've never even heard of a cousin Richard. Oh my gosh. Who downloads pictures of victims of school shootings? You're referencing Kagan searching Sandy Hook. Was it bodies or something? Which I didn't really look at that case because it's so upsetting. But it's like really young kids at school were mass murdered, and he wanted to see pictures of it. That's disgusting. Or Tony was searching that. Hi, Willow. Thanks for showing up late. I'm sure you're long gone by now. It was like 2 hours ago. Nicholas says, you would think if it was Kagan and Tony, the police would have found DNA somewhere, clothes, vehicle, personal articles. What are the odds you leave no evidence DNA and don't get caught with anything on you? I agree. Like I said, it seems like both Kagan and Tony gave their DNA as long as 5 years ago. Is it true that they used some kind of bleach or cleaner and it actually was successful in deleting their or removing their DNA? Thank you, Jane. I appreciate it. Does anyone remember Libby's sister saying she asked her twice to go to the trail? First, she said no. Then later, the sister, she said they had, I know what she said. She said, I will take you if you get a ride home. And Libby's dad was coming back, so she agreed to take them. And I don't think Kelsey has anything to do with this for people who accuse her of that. Oh my God, these comments are so old. Sorry. Thank you for loving me. I didn't want him to come on just to like, whatever, for my sake. I just wanted for everybody listening and even for me to find out like an actual professional and his opinion on like the investigation and process and stuff like that. So if you have anybody who you think might be good for that, for my October 6th one, I guess put in the comments below and I'll try and get them. I'm sure they'll ignore me like everybody else. Anyway. Is there any intel on if Tony or Kagan are comfortable with heights? Well, Kagan says he's anxious. I mean, can you imagine Kagan going across that bridge? I can imagine Tony doing it more than Kagan. Thank you. It's unbearable to go through a Tom Webster chat without some kind of humor. I have eyes on Kagan's cousin. Well, you must be looking into the local jail because that's where he is right now, I think. The video on the bridge was done with Matt Sullivan. I cannot remember the name of his channel, but he teams up with his girlfriend, Kate. He lives in Canada, I think. All right, I'll have to look at that because it's like if they came up with 5'8", the witness, the teenager girl, says 5'6" or 5'7". How does Tony and Kagan match up with someone a few inches shorter? Kelsey's text to Anthony Schatz at the police station. Did he reply? Yes, he did. So she said she had I guess around maybe a few months ago after the December Anthony Schatz stuff, she said, I forget what she said. I don't want to misquote her, but she said she had a 5-minute conversation with Anthony Schatz's profile because I guess she somehow logged onto Libby's Instagram the night of the 13th when she was at the police station, and she was starting to message people who had contacted Libby to see if they knew where she was. So I don't think it was a 5-minute conversation, all 5 minutes. I think she sent a message, did other stuff, and then it went back and forth, and maybe he said, no, I have no clue. But if he was involved, can you imagine getting that message from Libby's Instagram? Like the person you know was just killed and now you're getting a message from her? And why did he not delete the Anthony Shots profile as soon as he got home? I don't know. Remember, the Anthony Shots was supposed to be 19 years old. If Libby and her friend were arguing over him and Libby threatened to tell, that could be motive to silence her. Same with her friend and the ski mask. Yeah, but to me, it's like, why are even 8th grade girls like wanting to date a 19-year-old guy? It's like they're in 8th grade. Yes, Ron Logan's ex-wife said he would never even go more than 3 feet on the bridge because he was afraid of it. And the thing I was saying is like he lived there for over 50 years, and it's like, why would after 50 years he randomly kill 2 8th grade girls? Hi, Diana. Thank you for the comment. I appreciate it. Hi, Plead the Fifth. I hope your excitement is still going on. It's almost 2 hours later. You posted that at whatever, almost 2 hours later. Sorry. I think it's important to know where they got the CSAM and the original source. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously supposed trading of it, but who knows what other websites Kagan was possibly downloading it from. And plus, he was chatting with these girls and getting it direct from the girls. They were sometimes agreeing to send it to whoever they thought they were chatting with, either Emily Ann or Anthony Schatz, and he had several other fake profiles. Tamara thinks that the clients were cleared early because Tony has friends in law enforcement. Just to clear up, I know some people have talked about the clients going to Las Vegas soon after February 21st to the 25th, and Tony's friend, whose name was Jan Kendall, he died in 2018. I was just looking today at Jan's obituary, and it said he was a sheriff, I think in Miami County, which is where they live. And also it said he retired, but then he worked at the Chrysler plant in Kokomo. So that's how he knows Tony. But I don't know that, I don't know what happened with that Tamara. I just can't speculate. What about flannel shirt guy? I don't know. He's kept his mouth shut this entire time. People don't really seem to think that he matches up with the guy on the bridge, but I'm really curious to know how long was he out there and exactly what did he see and when. Everything that's been released has just been rumors about flannel shirt guy. And on that note, there are so many rumors, Bianca says, I never know what to think sometimes. I totally agree. Garrett Kurtz and Ashley Garth, I think, put the girls' bodies on Ron's land to get cops to think he did it. I mean, it's possible, but what would their motive be? Ashley's child being taken away? Yes, Tony is taller than Kagan. I showed that in my video. Hi, Samantha. Thanks for joining. Nobody knows exact heights. That's true. Although Kagan said in his interview, he's 5'11", 6 foot. And like I said, anybody who says that is more like 5'10". Sorry, just reading through these comments. I really feel so bad that I've missed like 2 hours of comments. I'm so sweet, right? Anyway, whoever's commenting right now, I won't see it for another 5 hours. Let's see. How about a Las Vegas snuff out guy as a third man, since these movements to and from Vegas seem to be the deal? Did Kager Nokio really expect to get rich as a marijuana delivery guy? Well, he said at one point, he's like, I think in the police interview, he said, I moved to Vegas to change my life. I won't even comment about that. I don't know. Were the girls moved to where they were found, or were they killed at that location? It seems like they may have been dragged. I mean, I could imagine maybe them being, it said that in the Ron Logan document that they showed no signs of a struggle. It's like, how do you kill two girls with a knife and neither one of them tries to fight back? So Diana, it seems like maybe they were dragged a little bit and maybe covered with stuff, and that's why it took a while to find them. But there's no confirmation from anybody. Has it been speculated that OBG and YBG sketches are to represent a father and son duo? Yes, some people have wondered that, but it's like neither of them look like the Kleins. So this is 2 hours ago. Please zoom in on your face. I don't know if you were talking to me. And in my latest video, I said, who's zooming who? And I zoom in on everybody and everything, but not on my face. I'm sweating right now. So that's fun. Like I said, I hate doing these things, but if you enjoy it, then it's not about me. Oh my God, who said this? Tom is very pink today. Yeah, I'm sweating. You're blocked, wishful thinking. Let's see. Good morning, Chelsea. It's probably lunchtime by now. I'm enjoying it. Oh my gosh. Remember, Kagan lies and he's also going to prison. So I think he's trying to make his case bigger than what it is to lessen his beatings. I don't know, but like, how is that going to work in the end for him? Are police really going to buy it? I don't know. And if he said, okay, go look in the river, there's 1 or 2 items there, and after 5 weeks, the police actually find those items, then that does indicate he was telling the truth. Hold on, I need a drink. And it's just water, not vodka. All right, so I'm going to tell something that I probably shouldn't tell. Ouch. All right, so here we go. So I looked into this case, and then I told people not to subscribe to my channel, and like 5 or 1,500 people subscribed. So I felt bad, and people said look into another case. So I said I would, and I looked into Missy Beavers for like 8 months and 600 hours. And I finished this past mid-April. So then I went back to Delphi because people, obviously there were updates and people were asking me to do it. So I started researching in late April, and I was doing something, and I have to be vague. This like cray idea popped into my mind, which I promise I will do like a 3-minute video about it after Kagan's trial. But basically it was, well, actually there's somebody in here, I don't want to know this. I don't want people to know this, so I don't want to say, but I kind of did something to extract the truth in May. And I'm not taking credit for Kagan finally telling the truth, but I'm curious to know, why do people think Kagan had lied for 5.5 years and then he's finally telling the truth? Is it because his CSAM case was coming up in September and I guess his lawyer was saying you really need to admit Delphi involvement or else you're going to be in jail for a long time? So I'm going to see your responses in 4 hours. So don't even respond. Yeah, but so I will do that video at some point, but I have to be vague about it because I want to find out if it worked, but it's like a less than 1% chance. but it was really funny. Anyway, let's see. Thank you, Aunt Deanie. I appreciate it. Does anyone have any guesses on why Kegan would look up Marathon gas station? I talked about this in my video, but I honestly forget what I said. It's like I showed the dumpster, and I thought at one point, could they have thrown stuff in there? And I don't think they did. But I know that people who are local said that some kids at some point, maybe when like high school kids and middle school kids would maybe hang out at the gas station, or maybe Libby said that at one point. I forget. 5 years later, it seems too easy for it to be the clients. They're mental midgets, not sophisticated criminals. I agree, but is it possible to get extremely lucky? I don't know. Hopefully, we'll find out soon. I like how you make your presentations very clear and easy to follow. Thank you. I honestly spend so much time trying to make it easy. And I hope that people can save time by just looking at my long videos instead of trying to find the information themselves. What? I was able to connect the family where the sleepover took place to James Bryan Chadwell, too. Do you have a video on it? Although you probably shouldn't reveal those people's information. I don't know. Thank you, straight from the horse's mouth. Sorry, I'm trying to go through these comments a little bit quicker. Yeah, I talked about that before. It was, I mean, yesterday people were saying Tony was arrested. He obviously was not. People, I think, said he was buying dog food or something. And people called him and he answered his cell phone. Let's see. TK is only claiming he was waiting in the Jeep to distance himself from the crime. I think you mean Kagan. Tony is the dad. Kagan said he was the one in the red Jeep. Just reading these. I don't know what GBI stands for. GBI actually went through the files pertaining to this case and told local authorities that a witness they thought were not involved actually were. I mean, obviously people accuse that DP witness, the arguing couple guy. I don't know. Police have definitely looked into him, so why have they not arrested him? Hi, clinical depression. I'm not sure if you're calling me a king or somebody's username king. Tom, thank you again. I still wonder about OTG, Orange Truck Guy. That's who I see. What are your thoughts on him? Well, there is a picture of him, I guess, with his hands on his knees. I'm sure you recognize that if you're familiar with the case. And he has a hat on. And I could see some resemblance, but, and like I said previously, I know that, I mean, him showing up at Ron's house at 6:30 p.m., I think that's because his wife maybe saw on Facebook that people had asked to help look for the girls that they were last seen around the bridge. So, I mean, he could have been a helpful person and just been trying to help the Patty family. But obviously, it's weird that there's a rumor that he lost his keys in the woods, and that's why his truck is in the corner of the cemetery surrounded by people who arrived later. But that keys rumor, I don't think it's been verified, and I think Libby's grandmother said she asked the wife, who said it was not true. But why his truck in the corner? I don't know. I don't know. Was he the first one there and he just could not get out that night and he maybe walked home or his wife picked him up? I don't know. All right, now, oh my God. I'm in the part of the comments where Fig Solves joined 2 hours ago. All right, I'm at 3 hours and 5 minutes or 9 minutes. I'm gonna go another half hour and then I will look in the comments afterwards. And if I think something really needs to be answered, I'll reply to you later this week. I'm really sorry. I didn't know there was gonna be this many people. How dare you join? Let's see. So people were talking about the cleanup events. Um, For people who are wondering about Delphi, somebody recommends the Cyber Sleuth account is my true crime channel with all my Delphi stuff on it. Do you think you will ever look into another unsolved murder crime? You do a great job, and we sure have a case here in Kentucky that could use your help. Her name is Crystal Rogers. Honestly, the thought of spending another 400 to 500 hours getting consumed by another case is not that appealing to me. Especially, I mean, I know I'm somewhat decent about organizing stuff and at least trying to find ways to find information, but I'm 0 for 2. And it's like, what really could I find that police and other online sleuths have not been able to find so far? Yes, thank you, Fig, for joining before. Um, Sorry, just going through these. Yeah, so before when I was talking about that cleanup, it's an annual event of the Wabash River, which is the river behind the Klein. So I guess they clean up for junk and stuff. And they said it was the first time they ever found a gun, and there was one bullet in it. Yeah, there's just one remaining bullet. DeLorean has awesome Delphi content. Everyone should check it out. Yeah, I have not heard of some of these channels. No offense. Yeah, this is what some people were saying. The second sketch is the Anthony Shots profile. It's not a real, tangible, physical person. But to me, it doesn't. I mean, if they had a picture of Anthony Shots, wouldn't they have? I don't know. I mean, at that point, I don't think they had mentioned Anthony Shots publicly, and obviously until December 2021. But you would think they would draw somebody who looked at least a little bit closer to Anthony Shots, the fake model guy. They can restore filed off serial numbers. I guess you're talking about the gun that was found. I guess if it was registered to the clients, maybe they could match it up at some point. Even if they threw it out, I would imagine they would have written down a serial number that was on it. I don't have a gun, so I'm not sure about serial numbers. Kagan is a broker, not a murderer. He was brokering this material in a way that is safe to the purchaser, which is where the Dropbox comes in. Yeah, at some point, I'd like to know exactly how many people were caught because of that Dropbox. So why has there not been an arrest of Tony yet? We're talking about a vicious murderer in town. Law enforcement wouldn't hold off on arresting him if he is the alleged killer. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, if they have his DNA, why does it not match up? But people say, I mean, you have to have a lot of evidence that you are sure would result in a jury convicting him. You only get one chance to do this. So maybe they felt they did not have enough information previously, but maybe with whatever is found in the river, they'll finally get a chance. No, Tony's father died, I think February of this year. Most police departments don't even destroy inconsequential evidence for at least 20 years, so a year or two for a gun sounds absurd. Yeah, I think the article said they would hold it for 6 months. Thank you, Tom. His friends rented a house on Country Club Road? Whose friends? Kagan's? Has anyone seen any proof besides the transcript about Kagan giving Libby money? I have not seen that other than the transcript. How does the FBI not know if the bodies weren't staged? I think the affidavit or the Ron Logan thinks that they were staged and moved. Oh my gosh. Sorry, just going through these comments again. So the autopsy has also not ever been released or leaked, so we're not sure exact details on stuff. Heather does not think it was a kidnapping. What triggered the very first law enforcement contact with the Kleins? The ski mask girl said she was chatting with Anthony Schatz. She gave him her address to hook up after school. She sees a guy in a ski mask and I guess tells the police, I was chatting with Anthony Schatz. They start looking into Anthony Schatz. It leads to the Kleins. Hi, Carrie Ann. What do you think about the Yubo connection? Honestly, I did not really look into Yellow and Yubo that much. I probably should have, but I didn't. What I saw some people online saying that at least one of them is a live streaming app, and some people speculated were the murders live streamed on Yubo, but I mean, nowadays when people Facebook mass shootings, it's all over the news. So I would imagine if it was live streamed, at least one person would have called the police anonymously or something. Staging is not usually done by offenders unknown to the victim, especially staging in combination with a hands-on killing like a knife. Yeah, like I said, I hope all these facts come out soon for the girls and just for all of us who've been wondering for so long. Libby's friends all knew that she was going out there, and Kegan, Anthony Schatz, was friends with all Libby's friends. Yes, he was supposedly chatting with quite a few of her friends, and he could have asked, like, or at least some of them were saying, yeah, we're going to the bridge on Monday since we're off. I still can't get past Doug Carter saying, we will be surprised. Yeah, like I said, he sometimes seems to say certain phrases to try and say the right thing. I don't know that that's going to end up being the case or not. Some people think it's the ex-mayor. I won't even say Shane, but to me that does not add up. What if Libby got jealous of Anthony Schatz talking to her friend and she threatened to tell on him? But exactly who would she tell? Like, say a 19-year-old's trying to hook up with other 8th graders? I don't know. Robert believes Kegan is bridge guy. Tony Klein is a coward and he will not commit suicide. I guess time will tell. It's like, is he really, if he knows he killed them, is he going to be okay with having a trial? I don't know. And being known as the guy who killed these 2 girls and have to live with that every day, including in jail? I don't know. Where is Tony Klein? If he truly is guilty, wouldn't he flee? I don't know. Apparently he was buying dog food yesterday. Cassidy thinks Tony is arrogant. He'll think he can get away with it until the gavel hits, in my opinion. Hi, Mrs. Thang. Notice in the transcripts, Kagan made a point to say he did not drive. I think that was intentional to distance himself from the possibility of driving there. I agree with that. Just reading through more comments. They supposedly had the trip planned out. They drove? No, I don't think they drove. There was that picture of the red Jeep in Colorado. It seems like they have some kind of connection to going to Colorado a few times. So they may have driven the red Jeep there, but I don't know that they drove to Las Vegas. It seems kind of far. And Tony, I think he was posting, like when he visited Kegan later, he posted on Facebook, like flying to Vegas. So I would assume they flew to Vegas, especially if they were there February 21st to the 25th. It's like, you can't really drive. I don't know. It would take too much time. Anthony Schatz communicated with lots of girls, young girls online. So Libby had competition from another. Yeah, I mean, that could definitely be some aspect to this. Daisy said, I think younger bridge guy sketch looks close to Tony. I wonder what the witnesses say. Yeah, you would think, even though their memory might not be that great, if police say, okay, here's Kegan, here's Tony, does this resemble the guy you remember seeing? So have the witnesses said yes? And is that why police think it's Tony? I just can't get behind the idea that the voice is Kegan or Tony. I'm convinced they aren't even close to nabbing this guy. So yeah, I was like, if it's not Kegan or Tony, it seems like the police are totally lost. But like I said, in the past month or so with Kegan maybe changing his mind, it's looking like the clients may be involved. Police have more video footage. Yeah, I'd be interested to find out what they present at any kind of trial. Kagan's whole life was online. Anthony Schatz was who he wanted to be. Tony actually had cars and stuff. Kagan created a fantasy life. Like I said, I don't think Kagan even graduated high school, but he's designing menus for $1,000 for mom and pop restaurants. And didn't he register a business called like Klein Marketing or something? I don't know. If Bridge Guy didn't have a cell, he would have issues coordinating with his getaway driver. Yeah, it's like, did the Klein's cell phones ping, or was that the burner phone? I don't know. Were there two burner phones that they were using to communicate with? And did they throw both of them over the bridge? I don't know. Sorry for the silence. I'm just reading through these. I hate doing these chats. Sorry. I'm going to go for 8 more minutes. I'll stop at the half hour. And I really apologize if I don't get to people's comments. USA Libertarian says Kagan was closer to 260, 270 in 2017, which is not too obese to walk. Yeah, I wasn't really able to find pictures of either of them from 2017. And is that because they deleted them on purpose? Would there still be DNA from something in the water? I think I saw something where if there is mud, although I don't know if there's rocks under there, mostly mud, but sometimes the mud, I think, couldn't keep DNA in place, and the searchers have to specially handle anything they find. And I guess in a lab, it will be removed, like the dirt and stuff. So I would imagine, like I said before, anything that was found in the river, they're obviously going to be testing to see if it matches Libby and Abby's DNA, if it was a knife that was stuck into them. And if Kagan said, yeah, we threw it over the bridge, and it shows that it has the girl's DNA a few hundred yards from the client's house, then obviously that's good evidence for the trial. I would convict Tony based on that. Why hasn't the eyewitness been shown pictures to see if either, like I said before, I would imagine police have kept in touch with these witnesses and asked all of them to see various suspects, and if they matched their photo to their memory. Why would he ask about his dad so much in those chats? Yeah, there were quite a few chats where it's like, would you hook up with a 40-year-old guy? And it's like supposed to be Anthony Schatz, who's around 19 or 20. It's like, why is a father being brought up so much? And like I said, I think in my video, it's not necessarily Tony. Maybe there was some other guy or guys that Kagan was getting pictures and videos for, or trying to hook up people in real life. I don't know. But it definitely seems suspicious that the dad was brought up several times. Oh my gosh. Clinical Depression said, why did Kagan say Libby liked him as himself? I think you're misreading. In the police interview, he said, I think he said Ski Mask Girl liked Kagan as himself. Jimmy Hoffa said the dad references was because Tony was right there with him during these chats, or it was Tony doing the chats. Thank you very much, Charlie. Your bashfulness is endearing. Thank you. Ski Mask Girl was brave to tell her parents about talking to Anthony Schatz. Yeah, I mean, what if she had not reported that? So many kids would keep it to themselves. I would imagine they would have maybe looked into Anthony Schatz as being the last person to talk to Libby on Instagram. Hi, Zero Cool. Thanks for joining. Why would the murder sheet keep releasing false information to the public and jeopardize the whole case? I don't think they have released any false information, but like I said, yeah, I don't think anything's been proven false that they've released. I just don't think that they should have released some of this sensitive stuff. And no, I'm not jealous of their success or anything like that. My question is, if Tony is truly involved, why is he just chilling in his Joe? Yeah, I mean, I don't know that we have, I mean, we would expect him to just stay inside all the time, but what the hell is that noise? I'm sorry. Sorry, somebody's playing loud music. I think Tony possibly helped Kagan cover up the crime, but I absolutely think Kagan knows exactly what happened and likely did it himself. Yeah, I mean, that interview, I didn't say this in my video. I mean, he lies so much. I said that, or I thought that instead of waterboarding prisoners, like the government should force them to read Kagan's interview as a form of torture, because, I mean, he just lies about everything. Thank you, Nikki. I appreciate it. Single Shot Freddy says, I think Libby saw a picture of Tony and made fun of him. Well, yeah, Tony seems to have a bad temper. So, but would he really kill a girl, just like an 8th grade girl and her friend, just because they made fun of him? I don't know. Thank you. What details drive you the craziest? The video changing every frame. It's so frustrating. And the most frustrating thing is, like, if it happened today and Libby had like an iPhone 14 with a lot better resolution, or if she kept holding it up further as he got closer, it would have been solved. I'm not blaming her, but it's just frustrating with that video and the quality. Oh my gosh. Meeting up with the clients, thinking you're going to meet Anthony Schatz and ending up with Beetlejuice and Freddy Krueger. Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine what these girls were thinking. Why is everyone in the chat focusing on the Kleins? Because according to Kagan's 2020 interview, the police think Tony did it. And apparently, according to some court documents, and Kagan, excuse me, I did not even mention Kagan was taken out of the county jail right before the river search. And it was confidential, a confidential court filing. So it does seem like Kagan is cooperating in some form. So that's why we're talking about the Kleins. Oh my gosh. All right, a few more comments and then I'm going to log off. Sorry. What? What is your opinion on Ken Main's? I don't know. I only watched like one or two videos. I don't think he does enough research to say stuff, but obviously if he has a lot of experience, that in itself is somewhat good just to give a basic understanding as he goes through facts or whatever. But I don't watch a lot of stuff online, to be honest. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so saying that Tony has a high-pitched voice in normal conversation is obviously different if Libby or he felt like Libby did something and he was so angry, and obviously he's going to change the tone of his voice, different from his voicemail. And I was definitely naive. Hold on, I'll show the. I was definitely naive when I first looked into this case. I mean, you see one guy on the bridge, and I assumed, okay, that's the only guy that was involved. There's nobody else around, but obviously it's looking like there's possibly more than one person involved. Tom said the video was definitely pulled from Snapchat. Are you able to make a draft on Snapchat and not upload it? Because it was not uploaded, the video at least. Does anybody know if Tony goes to visit Kagan while he's in jail? Apparently, Kagan said he used to visit. I don't know if it was once a week, and he said they would text or chat every day, but then he stopped for a few months, but then he started up again. And he's like, I don't know why my dad is believing everybody else. So it's like, what was that all about? I'm sure he's not talking to him now that he's heard about these confessions. Justin is team no Tony here. It's another family member and not TT. Well, that starts to involve a lot of people, and it's like, how can Tony, Kagan, and somebody else elude the police for 5.5 years? I do not think DNA is going to solve this case. Yeah, I mean, obviously Robert Ives, the former prosecutor, said there's a lot of interesting things about the crime scene that were unique, which I don't want to say I'm looking forward to finding out what they are, but I'd be interested to know exactly what they are. All right, I'll do one more comment. Nobody's going to watch back a 3.5 hour thing. Not that I care, but. I'll end with Cody. I don't think it's possible that the killer would be outside of this Anthony Schatz circle. I can't imagine that the Anthony Schatz and the murderers aren't related in some way or person. I don't know. Time will tell. Here I am. I'm sweating so much. So thank you for joining. I can't believe there's 482 people here. Thank you really for joining. I'm so sorry I did not get to everybody. I promise. I guess I'll have to go through the comments after. I will try to reply to anybody who has a comment that I feel like really not deserves a reply, but whatever, you know what I mean. So I'm doing another chat, apparently, Thursday, October 6th, same time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Thank you for joining, everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you for everyone who donated. Until next time, somebody solve this, please. Bye.